Gather round, we got no gods to please. Saturday night, no sermons, just ease. Discussions flow like midnight breeze. No prophets here, just minds to tease. We talk big bangs and evolution. Question faith with our solution. Stars align in our confusion. Breaking free from old illusion. Join the fun, no need for trust. Dust to dust, we're stardust. No heaven high or hell to fear. Saturday night, we hold it dear. Fun and laugh at myth believers. Here we're all truth seekers. Open hearts and swift deceivers. Make your stand, no hidden levers. Raise your glass to reason's thrill. No ancient text, it's our own will. Debate till dawn, feel the chill. Saturday night, we've got the skill. Echoes of a godless choir. Like the world, we spark the fire. Free our mindset to inspire. No holy walls to take us higher. Join the fun, no need for trust. Dust to dust, we're stardust. No heaven high or hell to fear. Saturday night, we hold it dear. Join the fun, no need for trust. Dust to dust, we're stardust. No heaven high or hell to fear. Saturday night, we hold it dear. Join the fun, no need for trust. Dust to dust, we're stardust. No heaven high or hell to fear. Saturday night, we hold it dear. Fun and laugh at myth believers. Here we're all truth seekers.
Hello, everybody. Welcome to Saturday Night at the Atheists, where we gather with atheists and we take a look at videos and we talk about things and we engage with folks. And speaking of engaging with folks, before we get started, right off the bat this evening, we have a left-handed Jedi gifting 5 captive desk memberships. Left-handed Jedi sharing the love, starting the night off. Thank you very much. And you know what that means.
Rocks.
You rock, let's rock with the fire in our veins. Rock on to the sky, till the thunder and rain. All hail Bigfoot, the legend, the king. He walks among shadows, the wild spirits sing.
Means you rock. Thank you very much, left-handed Jedi. And I want to say hello to everybody else joining us as well. Katie was in here. Let's see. Up. We got a bump here. Yeah, Katie was in here earlier. Hello, Katie.
Katie.
And
Hello.
not just any dog, but Top Dogs join us here. I understand Top Dog going to maybe stay for a little bit, but always appreciate you stopping by, Top Dog.
Awesome.
And we have, let's see, of course, left-handed Jedi in here. Awesome. You rock. And I got to scroll all the way back down. We got the Chimp in here. Hello, Chimp. And we have the Dave crew joining. Hello, Simply Secular Dave. Good to see you. Dane's joining us. Hello, Dane.
A lot of nice people.
And everybody else stopping in. Hello. And we have another atheist joining us. The atheist that's been around forever.
Not
Mike
a nice person.
From Answers in Atheism.
How could you be nice? You're an atheist. You can't
I
be
know.
nice.
I know. Yeah. Yep.
And
To be honest, I do think you're kind of a cunt. But just kidding.
yeah, everybody around here, and I'm sure Brainless, everybody else has heard it's No King's Day, so I got my No
parade
King
go?
sign up. There we go.
Said a no.
Did they have a parade?
There's the parade isn't for another like hour and a half, but there's been huge protests all around the country, and I guess in other countries as well. And Bigfoot is joining in. I've got my Bigfoot shirt on. Bigfoot's I'm always backwards. I'm still getting the hang of this. Anyway, Bigfoot's got commentary for No King's Day as well. So there you go. And I got a bunch of stuff I want to mention first before we get into this evening. So we'll start it off on something a little more serious, and then we'll have something a little more fun to talk about. All right. So first of all, I've done a video on this. What's her name? Jessica D. Ford and Conspiring with Ken Ham. I did a review on her climate change talk or something, and looked up the citations that they gave and everything. And yeah, we were reading two different things. This is garbage. They're peddling to kids and adults too, or whatever it says, and parents too. Yeah, okay. It's a bunch of disinformation. They're peddling to kids. I mean, this obviously looks like it's aimed at kids, and it's all cartoons inside and everything, and it's $20 or whatever on sale. Woohoo! But yeah, this is one of the problems with AIG. Speaking of, I wanted to let everybody know that I'm committed. Not that I have been committed. just to be clear.
You should be.
I'm committed to going to the ARC protest. I booked a room. The missus and I are going to drive down and go to Kentucky. Never thought I would be that close to Ken Ham, but
That's awesome.
of course, a lot of folks are going to be there, and Joe setting it up, Jess and a lot of other people, and it's a great opportunity also to meet a bunch of the folks that are going to be there. So I think that's going to be pretty cool too. And yeah, so I'm going to be there, and I ordered my shirt, and I ordered an orange one. And hello, Robin. Good to see you. Jasper, hello. Chris Moore, hello. All the great folks stopping in. Good to see you. Yeah,
It's cool that you're going to the protest. You bringing a camera?
I'm gonna go. I'll have my I'll have my phone. Yeah, I'll have my phone handy. So
Well, do watch out, because and
then we'll
Trump
do a
don't
little.
like protest.
Well, we'll do some. We'll still do something for Saturday Night at the Atheist. I'll take my portable. I'll take my laptop, and hopefully we got some decent internet or whatever. And I'm staying where some of the other folks are staying, so maybe we can get somebody to stop by, say hi or something. We'll see what we can do.
Oh, that would be fun.
So yeah, we'll just have to wing it. So Saturday Night at the Atheists in 2 weeks is going to be winging it. So we may not have a regular show. I mean, if nothing else, I just turn on my phone and go live or something, and say hi to everybody or something like that. But yeah, in a way, I'm being committed because, the whole ARC thing and all that is our our big nemesis, but, you got to protest it as well, So, all right,
big nemesis. No, it's not our big nemesis. It's the big nemesis of society.
Yeah. So I'm gonna make the drive, and I'm gonna be there, and I know a lot of other folks are gonna be there and everything, and Godless Granny was just talking about she's still committed to being there. So, we've seen the lineup, and I'll play the ad again. So there you go. And yeah, that's one of the reasons that the protest is on, is because of stuff like this. It's disinformation, and, shame on them. I mean, it's a real problem, everybody needs to work on, and you don't need this disinformation. It's just, it's terrible. Shame on you all.
They just want to control the people.
Yeah. So before you leave this page, I just want to let you know that, how I'm into the hard sciences. I just bought a copy of this Climate Change for Kids, because I figure, I need to learn, right?
Well, it says,
I want to know what's going to, I want to know what's going to happen to the children. I'm hoping it'll tell me in here.
Yeah.
Anyway, we'll see, because it's for kids, right?
They have numerous times, and different people there said things like, basically, God gave us fossil fuels and everything to use. So they haven't, burn it all up attitude. And that's not a proper attitude to have either, because even if it was so, there's still a matter of, conservation and using things wisely and fuel efficiency. There's no reason to, get 8 miles to the gallon anymore. You know what I mean? So, So it's fun if you want to go have a hot rod or something, but, I don't think anybody wants to pay that much in gas just to drive to the corner. Go ahead.
Previewing this book here, what they have to say about climate change in the first few pages, they say it's complicated.
Yeah.
So,
yeah,
it really is complicated. I wonder.
Yeah. So, this is my thumbs down to this. And Bigfoot's got a message too about this. And so one of the reasons we're going to be there, and amongst other reasons, is this disinformation, pseudoscience pushed to children and adults. And as we've said many times, but what you're, especially, excuse me, especially in this country, you have the right, freedom to religion. Go ahead, do your religion, right? But don't do this stuff, okay? They'll try always spin it and say it's attacking Christianity or something like that. That's a separate issue. We have separate issues with religions. This issue here, first of all, has nothing to do with religion. This garbage isn't in your religious texts. And quit pushing it on people, because it's not a good thing.
Well, I would fight just as hard for a Christian to be allowed to practice their religion as I am fighting for people to be allowed to not practice someone else's religion.
Yep, it has to go both ways. That I understand that.
And I'll fight just as hard for a Muslim. But like, as long as you do it in a decent way, don't use it to oppress others, and don't force others to believe what you believe. And I don't care what you believe.
And I wanted to catch up here. Looks like Azho, Jessica, Counter Apologetics, Ryan Cultastic, and Walk with the Spirit are the ones that got the gift memberships. And again, thank you, Jedi.
Yeah, Jedi is pretty awesome.
Yeah.
Just too bad that he's left-handed.
I have to let me refresh this here, because when it starts and then for some reason it gets behind. then I have to catch up with the chat. All right, let's see now. Okay, now we're caught back up. Yeah, okay. Yeah, Chris, yeah, it is protest season. I got my no king sign. Yeah, there it is. My no king sign. And yeah, I was following the protests today. There was a lot of them. And yeah, so 'tis the season, right? And yeah, so it should be fun. A bunch of folks will be there. And wait a minute. We lost. I had dropped Scott back in there. All right. We got Scott back in there. Okay. So, yeah, let me get rid of this because it's hogging up space. Okay. Now, on the fun side, there you go. We got the new emoji. There's the magic zoo boat emoji. So, have fun using the magic zoo boat emoji. And
is that an actual photograph or? Yeah,
yeah.
Okay.
I had Ken Ham send it.
Okay, cool.
Yeah. And so we got the magic zoo boat. And if you want to join in on the fun, everything's set to 99 cents. I can't set it any lower. You want to have a membership, click the join button, or those of you that have gotten the free memberships, feel free to use the new emoji, as well as, yeah, I see Jedi dropping answers in atheism toast. Nowhere else do you find answers in atheism on toast. And I found a way. Let me see. Drop this one back out. Drop a bunch of these things out of here because they're taking up too much space. Okay. There we go. All right. And speaking of, because, you know, around here.
We love toast. We love toast. We love toast. We love toast. We love toast.
Because we love toast around here, it's Saturday Night at the Atheist.
I'm going to get that on loop for my next mushroom trip.
I came across this where you can program your toaster so it'll print your picture on your toast. Now, of course, this is probably not, you know, it's just for fun. I'm not verifying this product in any way, shape, or form. But I thought it was funny. And there you go. So, you know, maybe you could, yes, indeed, have yourself on toast. All right.
Just verifying that something like that is out there. There might be other better products than this, but yeah.
I thought it was hilarious. So yeah, so I had to save it. But now we're going to click that out of there because it's hogging up so much room. I can't find anything. There we go. Clutter's all cleared out. Hello, Burius. Good to see you. And who we got? Where's Brent? What's up? Where's Brent? Jasper. Yeah, all the best folks stopping through. Good to see everybody. And always good to see Robin. I hope Robin's feeling better. All right. So, and keeping with the kind of Ken Ham thing, tonight's pastor thinks that Ken Ham's research place is the bee's knees. So I thought, leading up to the protests and everything, I'll find somebody that mentions Ken Ham. And he's going to tell us a about creation and evolution and all the things that are wrong with maybe both. We'll see. Ready?
Set. Go.
Let's pull it up and we'll see what, hold on, let me, hang on, I forgot something. One more thing. Let me get, let's see. I forgot to pull up my notes. I couldn't find much on this. This is Pastor Ed Thompson. And all it says that I could find is on Facebook that he owns Thompson Landscape and works at Pastor at I didn't write this, folks. Bread Breakers Church. Okay. Too many ats in there. All right, sorry about that. Pastor at Bread Breakers Church. That's about it. It's in Florida, I think.
That's where that's at.
Yep. Yeah, let's see. Ocala, Florida. So there you go. It's a church in Florida, and that's all it really says is he's a pastor there. So he's a guest on this show, and I did trim off the beginning in all transparency, link in the description. I trimmed off the beginning, which is, hellos and everything and introducing and talking about their business and that none that really applied to the discussion. I just chopped it right to where he starts talking. If you want to see the beginning of that, there you go. Otherwise, I like to let everybody know if I've edited it. Usually we watch them in full. If I've trimmed anything, it's intro music. Sometimes they have a prayer or something like that. Otherwise, I don't mess with the video itself. Okay. I'm going to drop into the other thing here.
Well, you're going to be teaching tonight on creation versus evolution. I'm sure there's a lot of believers out there that hear these arguments all the time, and you're going to be able to help folks out with how to respond and just some insights of your own. So we're just going to turn it to you and take it over. Lord bless. And
thank you, Michael.
All right, so he's introducing him. How's the volume for everybody?
Yeah, pretty good.
That's real good.
All right. Okay.
Good.
Austin. Hello, Austin. How you doing? Buckle up, Austin. Here he goes.
Yeah, it's going to be a wild ride when they're praising the research work of Answers in Genesis.
Yeah.
Yeah, I wanted to talk about this because it is a topic that I feel is important, and I feel like sometimes, as pastors, as leaders, our job is to equip the saints and to help them have answers. The Bible says, "Be ready to give an answer." And so I think this is one of the topics that sometimes maybe Christians, young people, sometimes maybe even churches and pastors, we haven't equipped people as well as we could to be able to address this issue, this teaching of evolution that I believe is really just poison the mind of a lot of young people.
Okay.
Oh my
He
God,
does-
it's an issue.
Well, too, a little bit, huh?
Yeah.
He poisoning the well a little bit, and he does kind of think a little bit when he talks.
What?
I did speed it
I
up
don't
a
believe.
little bit.
I don't believe that.
Yeah,
Christians don't think for themselves.
I did speed it up a little bit. That's the only thing I didn't mess with because it just in the interest of time, he does, you can kind of tell as he's, too many pauses. So, but yeah, there you go. It's just, we're off to a good start. The first words. Anybody else ready to go or any comments?
Why is it an issue, I wonder? And how many Christians is it an issue for? It turns out not all of them. Some of them have an issue. And I'm wondering, why is it an issue for believers to accept evolution? Maybe he'll tell us why it's an issue.
And so I'd like to just go through a few things, hit some of the points and the highlights on it, kind of just give you an overview, and then maybe at some point, you can always go deeper into the stuff, because every little subtopic can be expounded into several hours of teaching. But I'll just kind of hit some of the highlights and then go from there. So basically, the theory of evolution claims that life as we know it formed from non-living things and then turned into single-cell organisms.
Okay, well, you got to separate abiogenesis from evolution. And there is a form of evolution at the molecular level too, right, Mike?
Yes. Yes.
So yeah, I mean, you do have some selection going on, and you have some chemistry going on, and all that stuff too. So
Well, there's some selection going on, and you could call it evolution, but no, but we want to be sure of one thing. It is not the theory of evolution. The theory of evolution is not abiogenesis. Two different things.
because there's even people that will grant, okay, God made life, and then he stepped back like a deistic approach or something, and evolution did it on its own, right?
Yeah.
Andrew, hello. Good to see you, Andrew. And
Hello,
Wesley's
Andrew.
dropping the prayers on us. All right, Wesley. Always appreciate the prayers, Wesley.
Love the voice of Satan that spoke in your feeble minds on March 31st, 2020.
I
And
know.
said, don't tell, what is this?
I know. Well, we're being warned. We're being warned. We always appreciate the warning.
Wait a minute. When did Satan talk to us on March 31st, 2020?
I don't know. We were supposed to get a check or something too, and I didn't get mine. So
I didn't get one.
Yeah.
Darwin, his imagination. I don't understand.
Don't try too hard.
Oh, okay. Give it up.
That
I like
shit
honey.
is ununderstandable.
I like honey, Wesley. I'm hooking up. I got my tea with some honey in it. I like honey.
Yeah.
I got a pot of honey in front of me.
Yeah, it's good to see you, Andrew.
Who's Andrew?
Andrew Cummings in the chat.
Oh, and Andrew Cummings here. Oh my God.
Yeah, he is.
Wow.
I
Should send
know.
him a link.
Andrew, you want to come in? We'll get you a link. Well, you guys got the link.
I got
You
the
can-
link.
You can send him a link if he wants to stop in.
I could. Let's see. Where's the link?
Okay, here we go. Yeah, send him a link if he wants to stop. No obligation, but you know.
Which later evolved into complex life forms that we see today. And of course, this supposedly happened over a period of millions and billions of years. And so in order
Okay, and he don't like long ages either. So, as I said, YEC, here we come.
for evolution to even have a foundation to stand on, it's necessary to have millions and billions of years.
Yeah. Well,
Yeah.
it is.
It was about a $500 million, wasn't it?
Actually, no. I think we needed the whole 4 billion to tell you the truth.
Well, to
Starting
get
from the
here,
beginning, right?
yeah, to
Yeah,
get here,
yeah.
yeah.
Yeah, if we started from single cells, well, then it would be about, I'm guessing, 800 million years
Okay.
to go from single cell. Well, around 700 to go to multiple cells. So if you accepted that God created the first single-celled organisms, backed up a dump truck, dumped them in the ocean, and you went forward from there, which is what evolution is about, and we're looking at about 700 million years, I guess. So
Okay. We'll even round it up. We'll even round it up, and you're still, we don't actually need that much time, but okay, we'll see where you're going with this. I know where he's going with it. I watched it, but
You get rid of the millions and billions of years, evolution falls flat. Of course, the Bible,
that's true.
on the other hand, does not teach billions of years.
Okay, this is where they're going to start mixing it up, and there's a lot of course, disagreement by most of the religious folks with the young Earth view, and I myself hold to the position that the dates they're using that are in the Bible are for bloodline lineages. They're not to date the Earth. So.
And they're also puffed up for family honor and glory. You know, it was just a big deal for Assyrian kings and Sumerian kings and Egyptian kings to just kind of, you know, make everything larger, symbolic, having to do with theology more than having to do with actual calendar years. So for that reason alone, any kind of date given in the Bible is, especially back in those earlier books of the Old Testament, are going to be suspect.
Let's see if we can fix this a little bit.
So
there we go. Yeah,
Yeah,
but
before you go-
specifically though, I mean, does it say that the Earth or the universe are any amount of age, Scott?
I don't think so, not specifically.
I don't think so.
So-
Anybody
so
else?
The important part here is, okay, now he has veered off the course. So he tried to veer off once, talking about abiogenesis instead of evolution, and we course corrected him, right? Now he wants to steer off the course, and he wants to attack geology and radiocarbon or radiometric dating, right?
Oh.
So he's gonna come up with that and attack evolution that way. And yes, if radiometric dating and all of geology proved that the Earth was young, then we would have a problem for evolution. But he's just sort of suggesting that he knows all of geology and all of physics and all of radiometric dating. Therefore, evolution can't happen. So
And,
screw him.
Wesley, we appreciate the word and everything, but you know, if you're gonna spam it, Scott's gonna take care of it. So, all right,
Yeah,
all right.
Wesley.
And hold
on.
Hold on. We've got Jasper gifting a captive desk membership, and you know what that means.
You rock, let's rock with the fire in our veins. Rock on to the sky, till the thunder and rain. All hail Bigfoot, the legend, the king. He walks among shadows, the wild spirits sing.
Means you rock.
Yeah.
Oh, yeah.
Thank you very much, Jasper. And let me see if it's caught up over here.
It's
And,
Wesley's.
Pinworm. Hey, good pick. Pinworm has a gift membership. Thank you very much, Jasper.
So Wesley Curry is trying to help us out, and I want to help him out. So Wesley, you probably have about a half dozen little amber bottles with white caps. Go and read the instructions and put those in your mouth before you post anymore.
Well, he's timed out. We can see it, I think, in our feed,
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
yard, but
Yeah.
in YouTube, he's timed out and
Yeah.
nobody can see him.
Yeah, I acknowledged him and told him thanks, and you know, you can't keep on going. It just gets annoying in the chat, especially for me. You got to understand, I can only see so many here on StreamYard, so I have to switch back and forth to see it all, and you know, it just jams up the chat. Okay, you want to drop Jesus loves you or something? I ain't got no problem with it. All right, I really don't. But there you go. Okay, we got you. Okay, we got
I'm
you.
just saying
that's all you need.
take your meds as prescribed. And,
There you go.
Yeah, it'll go a lot smoother.
And there's a nerdy rodent in the chat. Hello, nerdy.
Hey, Rodent.
And did I say hi to Jasper? If not, hey, yeah, of course I did. I just told Jasper,
twice.
you rock.
Yeah, yes.
I was trying to weed through the okay, now they cleared. All right, now we're clear now. Okay. Thank you, Scott. It's not scrolled down. Okay, now it's back. And Paraspera. Hello, Paraspera. Hello. All the best folks here tonight. Good to see everybody. Or good day or afternoon, wherever you may be.
Or night.
It's the evening for us. But
No.
About dinner
It's
time.
almost the middle of the night.
About dinner time here.
It's almost the middle of the night, man. Like it's no dinner time.
You're in that other dimension over there. That's not my fault. Mike and Scott too. We're all in different times here, folks. So it's interdimensional at the atheists.
And there's only one true zone. So
It claims that God made everything in a literal 7 days. And so you've got two different explanations there. You've got billions of years versus 7 days. And really,
and no, you can have a lot of different explanations.
in Genesis, there are two different explanations also right in the Bible. So, and they keep trying to
which Bible?
Yeah, well, I don't know. I watched a little video on that the other day that they were saying, no, there's no getting out of this. There's two contradictory accounts of creation in the Bible on the first few pages. So there you go, mister. There's more than two.
Now they will come back with no. The first chapter of Genesis gives you the 3,000 foot overview, and then
metaphor.
The second chapter zooms in on it, and just kind of. But if you read the two passages, they just don't weave together like that. And Dan McClellan has some good explanations about what's going on in that text. If you go over to his channel, maybe type in Dan McClellan Genesis 2. You'll have several of his videos come up, and he gives a good solid explanations of the text.
Does he explain why did it happen? Why are there two different ways to look at it?
Well, I think one is kind of the original Genesis chapter 1 prevailing story for a while, and then when the king, was it Josiah? Was he the one who started all these power consolidations by trying to enforce one temple in Jerusalem where people will come to worship Yahweh, and he had this campaign to knock down the standing stones and tear down the Asherah poles and insist on people coming to Jerusalem to worship. During that time, it was preferable that the events of Genesis chapter 2 be paid attention to, but in kind of a traditionalist cultural mindset where old things are pretty much untouchable because they're holy or whatever, you don't take out chapters, you just put in new ones and come up with explanations on how they work together. It's kind of because I didn't take it out. I didn't change the scripture, but here's a story that God told me or God inspired somebody to write, and we're going to include this.
So if one of them is a 3,000 foot view of what happened, the other one could be a 10,000 foot view of what happened. Either if one could be a metaphor, they both could be metaphors. And that's what the issue is, that he doesn't accept that one of them or both of them are metaphorical.
But it's the literal word of God. You know that.
Literal word of God, right. He sat there and spoke each word, and then a guy scribed each word down. It's like, okay, what's the next word, God? What's the next word, God?
primary, I would say, motive behind evolution isn't because there's real science to it, and they just want to get the knowledge
really?
out there.
Yes. Tell us.
What?
Tell us. What's the real
Yeah.
motivation?
Okay. And who's in charge of this conspiracy? Who's running the conspiracy?
I think
You
I'm
are.
about to slap my forehead and go, "What an idiot!"
Yeah.
And even many evolutionists admit this, that it's not that we have all the facts, it's that we just want to create a way to explain life without God. And that is...
There you have it.
No, that's not what the scientists are saying. They say we don't need God as part of our explanation because we have the physical processes of our models that are bearing up under testing and under scrutiny. There's evidence forming to support these models. It's not, oh, we just don't want God in there, so we're not going to put him in there. It's we don't need it. We don't need this hypothesis. It adds an additional layer of complexity for no reason.
And what best explains all of the evidence? And evolution does that, and creation doesn't. Creation loses it on the details. When you go into the details, creation has to make shit up, make magic after magic after magic in order to explain the details. And evolution doesn't require any God, only requires natural processes and a little bit of induction. And we can explain all of it.
Sorry about that.
Wow.
We do have Andrew stopping in. Hello, Andrew.
Don't know all the details, but hi, Andrew. Hi, how you doing?
Is my audio okay?
Yeah,
Hey,
the
Andrew,
audio's
how you doing?
good. What you been doing?
Just working on schoolwork. The usual.
Yeah. Where are you at now in your education?
Kind of halfway to my bachelor's degree, roughly.
Okay, good. Halfway's
Awesome.
good.
Yeah. So this is kind of just the summer break period, I guess you could call it.
And what did you decide to focus on?
I'm majoring in ecology and evolutionary biology.
Oh, you're making Daddy very happy.
Well, you came to the perfect reaction video.
Oh, is this a creationist video we're watching?
Yeah, he's telling us the real reason why evolution is promoted is, what did he say it was? So that we think a certain way? Yeah.
So that we
So
don't
we
have
deny
to
God.
include God
No
in our
God.
thinking.
Right.
Well, that's their common assumption anyway.
Yeah.
Primary, the purpose of evolution is to explain life without God.
There you go. Primary purpose of evolution is to explain life without God. And of course,
nickel for every time I've heard that before.
yeah, and we've pointed out many times, and the creationists will too, a lot of these early scientists or naturalists, whatever you want to call them, that were doing early science were believers. And they had no problem with going out and trying to figure out how old the rocks were or anything else. It becomes a problem once it got to be a little too long, right? And it's like, oh, hang on. And then the creationists had to have their pushback with it can't be that long.
And it's really pretty dangerous because it can destroy the faith of a young person. A lot of churches, they may not address it that much because they're saying, well, of course we don't believe in evolution. Of course we believe in God, and evolution is silly, which it is.
It's
And
so
again,
silly.
I want to tell the story of when I was a little boy and a Presbyterian minister in 1958 or 59 sat down and explained evolution and old earth and all of that to me without damaging my faith at all. I never did become a Christian, but Anyway, he explained in such a way that they were completely compatible. So what the hell was he talking about? Okay, if a Presbyterian minister in a town of 3,000 people in 1959 knew that it wasn't literal, then what the hell is he talking about? Why should it destroy their faith? It's him that's destroying their faith, not science, because he insists on literal interpretation. Right?
Yep. And I see
Am I right? Am I
Ryan
right?
here, standard deviation here, JJ's here. Hello, everybody stopping in.
I just want to say that standard deviation is an awesome YouTube name to have on a science-based channel.
Standard deviants. I'm
Uh,
one of the standard deviants. Yeah.
And-
it's still cool from a statistical standpoint as well.
And I'm sure there's biologists and everything that are believers as well, even today, that can do their science and still have their faith. It's always a problem when you try to be too literalistic with any of these texts, because anybody will tell you, you know, with the language barriers and the way they wrote and spoke and understood things thousands of years ago, trying to bring that to modern day, especially some of the ones we cover with its KJV in English, right? And that's the way they're reading it, and it's a big problem with taking things literally, especially when you're doing the KJV English thing that's often pointed out is not really what it means to those folks in that language at that time. So it always going to bring up problems. I think that the so-called moderates that are more loose with their belief that will accept science and can still go to church are you know, more understanding of it's a spiritual text and it's not a science.
But then you've got kids in church, you've got middle schoolers. Well, let's back up even further. Let's go to a 5-year-old in kindergarten. They give them a book about what? Dinosaurs. Okay. Every kid loves dinosaurs. Well, guess what the first sentence is in every one of those kids' books?
What is it?
Millions of years ago. So you get.
Yeah.
Why is that? Why is that?
Weird, isn't it? Yeah.
Maybe you should read it again.
I wonder why it says that.
Kids programmed from 5 years old before they can actually even read that the earth is already millions and billions of years old.
And this has been known for quite a while now.
Yep.
And again, we will point out to believing Christian, call them geologists of their day, figured out, the Earth's got to be at least millions of years old. And it wasn't to disprove their faith or anything. They were just out doing science to the best of their ability at the time, realizing the Earth had to be way older than anybody thought before. Anything wrong with that, anybody?
Nope.
Do you have a problem with a Christian doing it, Mike?
With a Christian doing what?
Finding out that the rock layers were at least millions of years old?
No, I don't have any problem with that. I know a lot of Christians who do that. Came up with in fact, there was a really good video the other day. I'll post a link to it, where these two Christians are talking about how science is not in any way a conflict with their belief. So I will post that. I'll go look for it.
All right.
It's like it's not a problem as long as you keep religious beliefs outside the lab, basically. Otherwise, you're free to believe whatever you want.
Mm-hmm.
Well, then you pick up the Bible, and the Bible says, well, the earth is less than 10,000 years old. So you end up with a...
No, it doesn't say
that.
Doesn't say that.
You conclude that based on certain interpretations of Scripture that then you apply to other passages of Scripture, and then you have this convoluted mess where you're suddenly saying that the earth was created in 4004 BC or something like that.
Hmm.
a contradiction. And while you may have your church people that are not buying it, the kids are struggling with this. And so many times they'll come to their church, they'll come to their pastor, and they'll get answers like, oh, don't worry about all that. Just trust in Jesus. That's not all that important.
Well, I disagree. I think trust in Jesus is pretty important, right? And I just pointed out to somebody earlier that especially under grace, and if you repent and believe unto Jesus is Lord, you are saved, right? I think I asked Scott this last week or the week before. There's a couple criteria. Pretty much you have to repent, which means you're supposedly truly repenting and asking for forgiveness, truly, not just to get in the gate. And accepting that Jesus died, rose from the dead, and proves that he is God, Son of God, part of the thingy, Trinity, whatever, right? Okay, so I think that that's why a lot of them will say that, well, we don't really want to argue how old the earth is, because what's important is Jesus. So I think he's got it a little backwards, right?
Yeah, many would say so. From different points of view, many would say that he's off base.
Yeah. None of it is important if you don't believe Jesus to be saved. That's how you're saved, right? Because they say you have to do it while you're alive, right? You can't wait till you die and then say, oh, sorry. There has to be a point where you believe while you're alive in the Jesus part. Now, of course, they'll say the rest of the Bible is about, the big story and everything. Sure. But but the most important part is, if you want to be saved, is the Jesus part. That's the most important part of the way I understand it, at least.
And maybe from the pastor's point of view, maybe from a seasoned church member's point of view, it's not a big deal. But this young person who is struggling can shipwreck their faith. They can lose their faith. They can look at the Word of God and say, this is saying God made everything in 6 days, and we run the dates here, we get less than 10,000 years, and then scientists apparently have proven that the Earth...
Uh-oh, we got air quotes.
Air quote alert, cynicism alert.
Air quotes. And again, I see, now if the pastor was one of these pastors we were speaking about, I think the pastor might say, don't you have a science teacher at school or somebody that you could talk to, right? Because we don't take a stand on these things. We rely on the science, and back to, we like to, save souls and bring you to Jesus. And if it means there was people 10,000 or 20,000 or 1,000,000 years ago, it doesn't really matter. They're trying to bring you to Jesus now. And so I think that if the pastors were on that same side, there wouldn't be a problem, because they would say something like, why don't you go talk to your biology teacher, right? Problem solved. I think this is like this evil thing, right? The evil scientists, the evil teachers, God's not dead stuff or whatever, right? I think he gets all his information from those sources anyway.
Even as early as 1984 or 1985, I took a biology class, and the professor just out and out talked about, how he was a Christian, yet he accepted evolution, and he explained how that wasn't a problem for him personally, and so on and so forth. And I don't know what my stance on evolution was then. I was a Christian, I was a Baptist, but I don't know that I had picked a dog in the fight, in terms of, evolution. But at any rate, he just, didn't have a problem. So all these troubled kids, instead of asking their pastor, why not ask their local Christian biology teacher? Because, or I'm sure kids today are actually looking stuff up rather than going to these adults. Unless, of course, you live in a very strict cult-like evangelical community where you're not allowed to have internet access or something, or it's that parental stuff. They'll clamp down their internet access using parental controls to where maybe anything that talks about evolution they can't look up. But I'm sure there's stuff out there where biology teachers and biologists themselves talk about their theistic evolution point of view, how they deal with the scripture and how they deal with the findings of science. I think it's a no-brainer. It's just the fact that maybe you live in a culture that doesn't encourage you to use your brain and access the resources that are out there.
And of course, they're not like living like Amish or anything. I mean, they're sitting there on the internet with what looks behind them like a lot of products of, modern technology. There's not a problem with almost every field of science they seem to have an issue with in the end, right? It's something. They have to be persecuted by something, so they pick these silly little targets so they have some enemy out there,
Well, this is how you make a cult. Basically, you come up with something where you have the one true belief, and the rest of the world, most of the world, is all wrong, and there's a conspiracy. And your little cult can see right through their conspiracy, right? And that's what they're doing. That's what these guys are about. They're not about religion. They're not about Christianity. They're about cult.
Is millions of years old. That's going to make some people question the word of God, lose their faith in God, and ultimately walk away from God and the church. So I believe that as a church, we should be addressing this issue, equipping our young people, giving them answers. One of the best ministries out there doing this right now is called Answers in Genesis.
There it is.
Pause. Okay. So the irony.
Sorry, that was the sound of my forehead on the desk.
The irony here is if they wouldn't do that, if they wouldn't be making this a bone of contention, they wouldn't be driving kids away from the church. The fact that they're doing this, they're reducing the size of Christianity down to the size of their little cult. And so what he's doing is completely anti-belief, anti-Christian. He should be damned for it. If there's a hell, he should be going there because of what he's doing. He's the one that's pushing people away from their belief, not science.
Well, I think it's gotten to the point where they have a fairly narrow audience that they're peddling towards. So I honestly don't think it's about, well, they say they're about converting souls and evangelicalism, but when you actually look at the material that they're putting out there, it's fairly obvious that they're just catering to the members they already have in the cult, so to speak. So I don't think they're trying to expand as much as they claim to.
Yeah, and they're risking losing their youth because they insist that you can't do both. And I just posted a video of two ladies that talk about how you can do both. And they're Christians, and they're fine. So he's the one that's doing the disservice to his own damn faith. So damn him to hell.
A certain irony to it, isn't there?
Yeah, the link is right above that little quote that you put out. Evolution and God, can you believe in both?
Yeah.
And they've got the Creation Museum up in Florence, Kentucky, which is basically just outside of Cincinnati. And then they've got the Ark Encounter. Highly recommend to visit those places. And they're resources.
Yeah, well, I never thought I'd get anywhere near the places, but I'm going to be there. I'm going to be there in 2 weeks. I'm going to be in Kentucky. Oh, no. Hello, Ed from the Rabid Atheist. Good to see you. and walk
and you know
with
what
the
else?
spirit is here too. Hello.
He forgot to mention the biggest thing about AIG, what they have out there. What they have out there is a whole buttload of money. A lot of money.
A lot of money. They just bought a building, you know. I mean, they can afford to buy a building. I mean, that's how much money they have. So,
wasn't it the former Toyota headquarters or something like that?
Former Toyota headquarters. They bought it, and they're expanding their school through high school, and they're gonna use the other stuff for media and offices and that kind of stuff. But yeah, one of the big things is they now have a K through 12 school.
Oh goodness.
Oh, nice. But I was up pretty early today. I'm not staying awake.
Oh,
Sorry. It's already it's already Sunday for me, so it's the Lord's Day, so I can't be doing this. Dude, my alarm. I got up at like 8, and it's 12 o'clock now. So
we always understand brainless.
yeah.
that's only 4 hours. That's only 4 hours.
If that was 8
Brainless is on the
yes,
other side of the pond. Brainless is on the other side of the pond. So
that little pond.
Would you believe that?
Brainers, we are grateful for the time that we get to spend with you. You don't weep and wail over the time that you can't spend with us due to needing sleep and such things like that. But we just enjoy the time that we have with you, and we don't judge you or hate you for leaving.
And have a happy Father's Day as well.
Well, yeah, for me it actually is. Yeah. Good night, fuckers.
All right. Good night.
Yeah.
Good night. Yeah.
And happy Father's Day as well to all the fathers out there that are celebrating the Father's Day tomorrow.
My kids wanted to know what I wanted to do on Father's Day.
Yeah.
So I wrote them this thing, and I said I want to sit down and have breakfast with you guys at home in a quiet place, and I want you to listen to me, quote unquote. Listen. I just want you to listen to what I have to say. And they said, "What? What's going on?" They were all freaked out.
I just want to have a chat and beer.
I want you to hear me. Yeah, I want you to hear me and get to know me, what I do on a daily basis. That's all I want for Father's Day.
I debate creationists online.
Yeah, exactly. That's all I do. Oh, Andrew, I'm digging into chromosome 2 again. Oh my God, the databases on that thing are real sticky. We'll have to talk about it sometime.
Are you fixing to go over Donnie's claims again, or what got you interested in this particular topic?
Well, Austin Sims is going to debate a lady named Cook, I think it is, and the only video I could find was her on the Non Sequiturs show talking about chromosome 2. So I dug up all my old stuff, and I'm like, where did I get these sequences from? And I've been digging into it, and it is a mess. When you go out and try to look for pseudogenes, the evidence for these pseudogenes is pretty weak, that they exist at all. And anyway, we could discuss that. That's some nerd stuff. No,
okay.
We'll bore these people, but I did narrow it down. Anyway.
Tilting windmills here. Make sure your bell's turned on. I don't know why you didn't get notification. Good to see you here, though.
Hello to Robin Webster in the chat. Hope you're doing well, or as well as possible given the current circumstances.
Yeah, Robin's had a couple problems with her leg there. Hopefully it gets straightened out literally. A lot of I know my wife had a problem with the sciatic stuff and all that kind of things, and anyway, I hope they figure out what's going on with you, because that hurts.
sources, their materials. They've got everything from biology, geology, astronomy, all the branches of science, but declaring the word of God through those. And they've got people on staff that are, they're not preachers and theologians, but these are like PhD geologists, and that are doing the research, showing the science, saying, hey, actually the science points to a younger Earth and intelligent design, a creator behind this, far more than science actually points to billions of years and things evolving from living things evolving from non-living things.
Wow, they just filled him with a load of crap over there, didn't they? Man, this guy knows. This guy has not studied anything except crap creationist stuff.
Right.
When he says PhD scientists over there, most of them don't have any credentials related to evolution or geology, or so.
Everybody knows that the AIG laboratories are world famous for all the equipment they have. I mean, they've got fucking colliders, and they've got telescopes. They got everything over there. Yeah, it's amazing how big their laboratory is.
They even have their own journal. Did you hear that, Mike?
Oh yeah, they have their own journal. In fact, I'm subscribed to it. I get a copy every month.
Oh boy.
I get all their shit.
Just gonna put journal in air quotes here. Journal.
The editor is Ken Ham, by the way. So
you mean blog?
Yeah.
And the trusty ape is here, and KR Jung is in here dropping commentary. Let's see what we got here. BS. So there you go.
Dave, did you put a link to this guy in your description?
It should be down there. Yes.
Oh, good. You're learning. You're learning.
I'm learning. I'm getting better. I have got. Speaking of, we've got one of the best descriptions around. I mean, drop down in that description, and you're going to find
that is intense.
Links to Answers in Atheism and other folks on the panel, and you'll find a link to my Grassman channel as well, where I put out mostly just the cryptid stories. So if you're just interested in that kind of stuff, and not the other things I cover, because I cover a lot of different things on my channel, I keep those all on the Grassman. So you can go there and just do cryptids and ghost stories and stuff like that on the Grassman Chronicles. You'll also find... hang on 1 second. You also find links to Bree's channel at HiveSci. Bree's also got merch. If you need a new t-shirt, if you want a pride shirt, all that kind of good stuff, make sure you go get a t-shirt from Bree, because you're going to need a t-shirt anyways. Might as well get it from Bree. Support Bree. The link also is there down there for the Kentucky Atheist. Anything you need for the ARC protest, go to the Kentucky Atheist. Go to the Discord, the Kentucky Atheist. He has one of the breakdowns there that is just for ARC protest information. And guess what? It was real easy. I went on there. I said, click. I ordered myself a t-shirt because I like t-shirts. So I got an ARC protest t-shirt coming. And then I went click on the other link, got my hotel room booked. It's that easy. So all that information is over there on Discord. Joe's got it all set up. Very easy. Click, click. I've got a room and I got a shirt coming. All right. And then link for this featured video is also down below. And I think that's it. Check all the links in the description and make sure you hit the like, share, subscribe, all those kind of good things while you're down there. We really appreciate it. It always helps out channels just to hit that like and share and subscribe and everything. It means a lot to us. Thank you very much.
Yep. Your description is biblical, almost biblical. It's so big.
I've got the best description around. Make sure you always check my description.
Well, mine are
Topdawg's.
No, yours is better.
Topdawg stuff's down there too. I forgot. Topdawg stuff's down there too. Topdawg was here last week, and I saw Topdawg in the chat. Topdawg also told me they were working, so they might be in out. But there you go, tilting windmill. Tilting windmill, I mean, with the magic zoo boat. There you go, tilting windmill.
Do you know this Captive Deaths 3168? He put a nasty comment in here under that video. It says, "I'm pretty sure that a 5-year-old knows more science than Ed does." Who is this captive desk guy? I don't know.
Yeah, sometimes I leave a comment, and Ed here mentioned that a 5-year-old, and I said, really? I said, I think some 5-year-olds might know more science than Ed, because honestly, if you're getting your science from Ken Ham, I think there are some 5-year-olds out there that would be gifted enough to best you on a science quiz.
Definitely.
I always leave a note on these videos to tell them that we're reviewing it right now, and put the date, and tell them where they can find it in case they want to have a discussion. But they never bite.
One of your links isn't working. Yeah, I'll take a look. I'll fix it, Topdawg. Sometimes they don't copy over. YouTube's odd. Some copy over, some don't. Who knows? It's usually just a matter of another copy paste, and it fixes it. I don't know why. I've done them before, and then they don't show up right, and I have to go back and redo it. I don't know. It would be nice if it was easier to do, but yeah, you can't just copy everything in. So anyway, we do what we can. All right. But I'll check it when I get a second. Don't worry about it.
So you just want to, say, go and check out Answers in Genesis if you want to dig a little deeper on this topic, and you can get a lot of resources. Ken Ham is fantastic. So
deep.
Let's look at their timeline a little bit of the evolutionary timeline, which states that somewhere between 13 and 20 billion years ago, nothing exploded and the universe began. So they claim that a universe that has order, that has galaxies that are structured, solar systems that have planets rotating around stars, that have planet Earth, that have human beings living on them, that have complex respiratory systems, reproductive systems, digestive systems, tremendous order, supposedly formed out of an explosion.
If you've ever watched The Big Bang Theory or whatever that show was, because the theme song says it all. The guy is spreading disinformation, maybe even lying, because the Big Bang Theory says the universe was in a hot, dense state. It doesn't say anything about nothing. It says that the universe was in a hot, dense state and then expanded. So the guy's full of it from the get-go.
Yep.
Also, and this might be a little nitpicky, but he's saying order here. So obviously he hasn't looked at any thermodynamics either, because if you actually look at the physics behind it, the early universe was much more ordered, relatively speaking, compared to today's universe in terms of entropy. So,
and of course, tilting windmill. We love toast, and you know what? And now Barius wants toast too, because who doesn't love?
We love toast. We love toast. We love toast. We love toast. We love toast.
We love toast, and
that
never
is
fear.
That is etching in my head, and it's following me around during the day.
Never fear. Wayne is putting out more content, and we're gonna have I've got like 10 videos from Wayne that we can look at. So, keep it up, Wayne. We're looking forward to it. And Andrew might not know, but Wayne is a kind of a universal consciousness type guy, where even toasters have manifestation possibilities and all kind of fun things that we explored more than once, and we are going to again. So lots of fun here with the toast. So
I was wondering where that all came from.
Now you're all caught up, good sir.
Yeah.
And if you try really hard, your toaster may become a ketchup bottle. So be nice to your toaster.
We should all be nice to our toaster.
Yeah, I've tried to take Wayne's advice and be a little nicer to my toaster, and I noticed the last time I did get good toast. Sometimes, it makes it not toast enough, and sometimes it burns it a little bit. The last time my toast was ideal, so I'm going to leave it up to that I was being nice to my toaster, and maybe that, had nothing to do with where I set the dials or anything. Deconverted Man is in the chat. Good evening, Deconverted Man.
Have you listened to Wayne, Andrew, at all? Have you listened to any of our coverage of Wayne, the toaster
I've
guy?
not heard that name until a few minutes ago. No.
Okay, he is a treat. He is such a treat. He is amazing. He, I don't know how to explain what he does with toast, but it seems central to his block. He has a block theory of physics and time, space time, and he insists that this eliminates the need for memory. That we remember everything because of block time. We don't need a brain for memory. He's a wonderful guy. And he insists that you can manifest your toast, or I never quite understood what he does with toast, but he does a lot with toast.
Like the quantum woo stuff, or just like?
Oh yeah, a little bit of that. He claims to have the one true theory in physics and life and Christianity and everything. So
I've
he's
never
a treat. He's a
tested toast, but I've often wished it wouldn't catch on fire.
Yeah,
he's got one or two things about pyramids, and he's got a series on magic being real. So I thought maybe we would take a look at some of those coming up. Again, like if you manifest it, you can like do a magic trick for real. So you're not really, palming the card or whatever, the card actually moved around in the deck where you wanted it to be. So we may learn how to actually do real magic from Wayne as well. So interesting stuff coming up on Saturday Night at the Atheist, where we look for only the best top-notch quality material to look at, like this video that we're looking at tonight.
I will say I am glad. Thank you, Dave, for keeping this series afloat. So
we've been having a lot of fun here. A lot of good times here, a lot of laughs, and we hope everybody else is having a few laughs. And I know it's been a tense day. And what time is it? The big waste of money parade is going on in about 10 minutes,
really?
I guess.
So it didn't get rained out?
Well, I haven't followed what the current conditions are. Getting ready for the show, and I had dinner, before I started. Okay. So earlier there was a lot of protests going on, including in DC. So
yeah, that was going to be true.
The one side note I just want to highlight real quick is that I am glad that a lot more people in the general public are protesting various things, whether it be today or the Stand Up for Science protests a while ago, or just against the current administration in general. At least people are getting more involved when they need to now, at least.
And it's going to lead to martial law, I predict, before too long. So there's that, which is kind of scary. So
yeah.
Well, for anybody interested in the ARC protest, as far as I know, everybody's been contacted. They have had these there before. The authorities and everybody's been contacted that's going on. There shouldn't be any problems with the event, and there hasn't been problems at the event when they've had the protests in the past. So just for anybody's information, what it's going to be like there or anything. Yes, there's never been any problems there. Okay.
Now, I don't know how many people have ever seen an explosion, but 100% of the explosions I've seen did not create any type of order, but they created disaster and chaos.
What?
We're expecting
ignoramus. Yeah, and what if the purpose is to demolish a building? Isn't Isn't that exactly what you got from the explosion?
Well, maybe an expansion can. Well, of course, like Andrew said, it was an ordered system at the time. It was just hot and dense and didn't support matter. I guess
it's an ordered pile of rocks. They lay those things down just about perfect.
Yeah. So, the guy
that's
starting
just
with the idea of an explosion is off base as is.
Yeah, I mean, because that's the thing. If you think about it, like probably, well, I don't know if we really know what the most ordered thermodynamically system could be, but the early universe was pretty close. Because think about it, you've got matter and energy basically pretty uniformly spread throughout the universe, and at that scale, when those things, that material is that compressed, basically gravity wants to squeeze everything together, right? Basically make more black holes and stuff. So the fact that I wasn't able to do that meant that I'm being a little simplistic here, but that was a very low entropy state. So obviously the Big Bang wasn't an explosion, but I'm pretty sure if you had theoretically an explosion big enough with enough material, that you would start to see gravity have an effect and create some interesting systems, at least.
Yeah. If you give it time, basically the explosion or the randomness was not like pudding. It was not homogeneous. It was, some areas were thicker than others, and that's exactly what started it all. So we would want that randomness, because the randomness leads to the coalescence. Otherwise, it wouldn't be any
primordial density fluctuations.
Yeah, exactly.
And that's kind of the interesting thing to think about, is without those, we wouldn't be here at all. So, or really nothing would be here. Well, nothing interesting would be here.
Robin's going to have some Kentucky medicine for the protest. She'll be all good. And we wish you all the well, Robin. I know anybody having any issues out there, it's always tough. Life ain't tough enough, and then you got to have some thrown on top of you. It's one of those things, right?
To believe that order came out of an explosion. Well, what exploded? Basically, they claim that all the matter in the universe condensed into something called an infinitesimal type region, which basically they say was like the size of a dot or a.
It's not really defined. But see, he's kind of got the idea, right? Everything was compressed into one little something, not nothing, right? Whether it's the size of a football field or a dot, it doesn't matter. That's something, right? Just pointing that out.
It's just it's very hard to put into words, because it's not really. It didn't really have a size per se. It was just everything was literally in the same place at that time. So it's very hard to picture, but that's what the map says.
But that whatever size it is, we can define that as something.
Right.
So where they're getting the nothing from it, when he's saying it himself, I think he's missing that he's right there. He's describing something. They say it's a dense mass of. Yes, there you go. Pay attention.
I think they're taking the nothing preceded the Big Bang or something along those lines from maybe scientists or cosmologists, for example, and taking that out of context and saying, see, they're saying nothing exploded. So that's just my hypothesis.
Well, there's a lot of selective reading going on. I've discovered that myself. When I was talking about Jessica's paper earlier, when I covered a video on her talking about the weather and all that she was citing sources. So I went to the sources, And I seen what she was reading and the words she was using and the parts she was picking out. And I called it out. I was like, oh, come on, you've got to be looking at it because you're mentioning parts of it, but you didn't notice the parts you didn't want to notice. So you're intentionally being dishonest, citing a paper. And because, as we've pointed out a lot of times, they count on the audience never actually reading the paper. They're citing anyways. They're just taking their word for it. And totally, cherry picking a couple things out of the entire paper to say that sea ice was expanding when everywhere else it was diminishing and only grew in one little tiny spot.
So you're going into the climate change denial business now, are you?
Yeah.
I mean, that kind of misinformation too.
That stuff bugs me. I pointed it out earlier with their new book they have out
with that book
targeted to kids. Yeah, that burn all the tires you want, it'll be okay.
Yes, and I own that book now, so I could share that.
Funded book or something.
It's a book for kids. It's basically climate change for children. So,
okay.
Yeah, it's wonderful. It was just a wonderful read. I spent $10 on it. So if anybody ever wants to do a stream and review that, I got it.
Sure. Yeah. That sounds
good.
I was going to say real quick, I don't think maybe for professional creationists at like EIG or CMI, it probably, a lot of it is intentional because like they have to know better with all the credentials they do have. So they're, I guess professional creationists probably are grifting to a large extent. I mean, obviously we can't read their minds or whatnot. So, but I think for a lot of people, not all of it is intentional. I think it is just extreme cognitive bias. Like you said, Dave, selective reading. They're doing it subconsciously almost to an extent.
Like a smaller than a marble, all the matter in the universe was condensed into that and then exploded and expanded into what we have as our universe. Of course, as all that matter expanded, you get to about 4 billion years ago, and then that's where the Earth formed. And then there was cosmic rained on the Earth for millions and billions of years, and anywhere from about 1 to 2 billion years ago, the first single cell life forms emerged from what they call the primordial sea or the primordial soup.
And see, there's some basic information they're getting from somewhere, right? I mean, most of that is good, like at a grade school level or something, right? There's nothing wrong with that. So they do know, what's in the books. And then, of course, as he pointed out, one of the first words in this video was, well, they're just saying this, so it doesn't really matter. They're always just going to go back to, well, they're just saying it. All these libraries full of books and papers and everything is just what somebody's saying.
Saying, right? Yeah.
Yeah, they're just saying it.
Yeah, when you say primordial soup, you have to pronounce it like Bernie Sanders. So.
We got some cosmic rain. That's my Prince. Sorry, it's terrible. But Prince, rest in peace, Prince. Great talent indeed. Like the music or not, Prince was very talented.
He's one of Minnesota's own.
Good to see you, Ryan, if I didn't say so.
I used to hang out in that bar where they filmed Purple Rain, by the way. It's called First Avenue.
Mrs. Desk was all about Prince when I first met her many, many years ago. And still is to this day, And I'd only really heard maybe like Little Red Corvette or something, on the radio or something. So the missus turned me on to Prince, and I turned the missus on to Led Zeppelin, and we both became believers.
And then these single cell organisms found other single cell organisms to mate with and reproduce and evolved into sea creatures. And then they came onto land, and then you get to fast forward about 65 million years ago, you get the dinosaurs and then their extinction. And then they claim that the first humans would have appeared roughly 7 to 2 million years ago. So,
and again, okay, that's pretty good. So, what's the problem with it? He doesn't get the point that this is what's in all the textbooks. They really don't like that it's in all the textbooks, and I pointed out, especially if Donnie Deals is streaming or something, and I know Andrew and everybody likes Donnie Deals as well. That's one of the things I point out whenever they say anything to me about, your grandma was a chimp or something, or you're a banana or any of that nonsense. And I said, I really don't care, because anything you're saying tonight is in any textbooks anywhere except for, Ken Ham land, right? So in the end, yeah, they're pushing back against so much science. And we've said before, it's not just the biology, but all the other fields that agree, that weren't looking to agree, but just said, oh yeah, hey, by the way, this stuff all matches up with what we found. So it's so well supported. I don't even understand why they're arguing against it. It's like arguing against gravity, like a flat earther or something, right? Yeah.
They're very similar.
you get different explanations. Not all of them agree on their dates, but they all have millions and billions of years. So they do have a lot of flexibility in there. But it does seem that as time progresses, they keep making the universe get older and older and older very quickly. So that's
no. The age of the universe has been pretty stable for a while, except for like decimal points. No, I don't know what he's talking about there. I think this is one of the excuses they use. Oh, when they need more time, they just make the universe older. And it's like, as far as I know, they're only talking about decimal points, right? There hasn't been any big changes in the age of the universe or the Earth, right? It's
Nope.
just getting more precise is all.
Yep.
Right.
No, I think that's an exaggeration, Pastor Ed.
just kind of a quick breakdown of what they believe. Now let's go and look at the biblical timeline. If you take all the dates in the Bible and take them literally,
Which is a mistake.
Yep.
Yes. And Geo Sam is here. Good to see you, Geo. Yeah, we've gone over this again and again, that the purpose of those genealogies does not date the earth. There's a good reason they're in there, and you should know what that reason is that they're in there. It's because the bloodlines are very important for who sits on the throne. And who do you want to sit on the throne, good sir?
you'll get that God made the heavens and the earth in 7 literal days, roughly approximately 6,000 years ago.
And that's a big interpretation as well, even amongst everybody in the Abrahamics, right, have big discussions about what the creation week and the whole event actually means, because most of them, again, in the 21st century, do not agree that it's a literal magical event that took place in 6 days, except for Ken Ham and people that repeat Ken Ham.
Then about 4,400, maybe 45, we're not going to be too specific. I'm not going to try to say September 12th, 4,392 BC. We're not going to do that. We're doing rough. But you.
We're doing rough.
Wait a minute. Now, see, this is something creationists will point out often, is that when something is dated, there's a range. And it's like, well, yeah, that's how it works. There's a range. And if you're talking about thousands or millions of years and you're within hundreds or thousands of years, it's pretty close, right? Now he's going to rough it.
Yeah.
Hold on. No, I want the exact date. I want to know. I want to know when those first raindrops fell and Noah said, get on the boat. I want to know that. Or you know what? I'm going to say that you don't have enough information and you're just making it up. It's
Right.
and
Were you there? Were you there?
were you there? There's a good one. You got
Hey,
that?
Sorry to leave abruptly. I have some stuff I just popped up I need to take care of. So
Well, Andrew,
Okay, Andrew, give me-
hearing from you.
Give a call sometime, Andrew, and catch up. I'll let you know what
Yep.
I'm up to these days.
hope to have more nerdy conversations with you, Speed. Thanks for having me
Yep.
on, Dave.
All right, Andrew. Good to
Oh.
see you.
See you guys later.
Right.
All right. Bye-bye. And yeah, again, Andrew is studying to be a biologist. So always good.
Evolutionary biologist.
yeah, evil.
Evolutionary.
So it's always good to have Andrew's input when he stops by, and often very busy because he is studying to get, what is it, a bachelor, master's? What's he going for?
Bachelor's first and then master's and probably onto a PhD. If
Okay.
you know, money's a problem always for higher education. But anyway, when he graduates, he will get a blood red satin robe and a crown of horns for
Awesome.
being an evolutionary biologist. Evolutionary. Crown of
Where's-
horns.
Where's Missing Lot at when we need her? The evolution. Maybe we'll say it enough times she'll show up.
Evolution.
You can go through your Bible and get these dates, and they'll add up pretty close. But about 4,400 years ago, God judged the world with a global flood. And people will
Really?
say,
Why did he
He
do that?
did.
Why did he do that?
And
Where did he get the
speaking-
water?
And speaking of the Magic Zoo boat, we have the Magic Zoo boat emoji now. Make sure you check that out. And I will be at the Magic Zoo boat in a couple weeks for the ARC protest. So
God, I wish I could be there, but I just can't. I just can't do it.
yeah, of course, was, work schedules, life schedules, and, everything. And I didn't want to commit. So I said, well, I'll keep it open because, it was a ways out when they started planning it all, but,
Yeah.
so, but
How many miles? How far? You got to
Well,
drive.
her sister lives down there just over the line. And she
Yeah.
says she does it in about 3.5 hours, but I wouldn't
Okay.
drive with her.
Oh, okay, yeah. Yep.
I like to, try to go the speed limit and all that. So,
Yeah, I don't do speed limit. I get there in about 45 minutes. So
well, check-in time is 3:00. So I'd like to get there around then. And, if we leave sometime before noon and then,
can I ask what a room cost you for a night?
I got the king size and, what was it? 160, something like that.
No shit, that's good. That's good. Awesome.
It was, I say that they had a block deal, that they set up for people coming. So, they said it was a nice place. The pictures look like the rooms are nice and everything. And, the way Godless Granny was talking earlier, I think she's booked at the same place because she said she's got 2 queens, and that was the 2 options, was a king or 2 queens. So hopefully, there'll be other people right there at the hotel too. So, I think it's going to be neat to meet some of the folks, so that'll be neat. And I'll try not to
That's what I
bring
like
back
about those things.
any cooties from the ARC or anything. But looking forward to meeting everybody. And we got I'm gonna call it a 4-hour drive, give or take. And she's going to try to meet up with her sister, who, like I just mentioned, lives down there. So hopefully, you know, two birds with one stone type thing. While we're right there, that maybe she could go have lunch with her sister or something. So
Yeah, and keep the radio off and sound to a minimum so you can hear the banjos.
right.
Well, how do you know it was a global flood? It could have been a local flood. Well, God said in the Word that He would not do it again. But there has been local floods all over the place since then. So that would mean that God was not true, that God was lying.
Oh my God!
Oh boy! Whoa, ironclad!
Oh God! What? Oh, Scott, go ahead. How many ways?
What an ironclad argument! Of course, the flood story is not just like a myth or a legend. It's just, it has to be true, and therefore, since we're having local floods, it can't mean that. It can't mean that at all.
Can't mean, yeah. And how many local floods kill all of the animals, all of the humans, all of them, right? How many local floods do that? Maybe that's what he said he wouldn't do again. Maybe he wouldn't kill everybody, right?
Oops.
Oh, that was pretty weak. That was so. Who's this guy? Ed? He's weak. Weak sauce, Ed.
Yeah,
I can't even find his educational background anywhere.
Yeah,
I don't think there. I'd be surprised.
It says studied at Central Florida.
Yeah. Okay.
From 94 to 96. So it's a 2
Studied
year.
What?
A 2 year something. A 2 year something. Yeah.
Oh,
Yeah, this is Pastor Edward Thompson from Bread Breakers Church, and it's in Florida.
Bread Breakers Church.
And yeah, that's all I could find was the Facebook bio. I couldn't find anything else. But he does have Facebook, so you want to go get broken bread, because, you know, around here we like bread. We not only like bread, you know what else we like around here? I know what a lot of folks like around here.
I know what I like.
Toast!
We love toast. We love toast. We love toast. We love toast. We love toast.
You're going to hell for that video.
If I was going to go to a church, I might go to Bread Breakers Church. I mean, the name is enticing. It just makes me want some bread, right?
Could be toasted Bread Breakers Church.
Hi, Tori. Good to see you. And there you go. Standard deviations dropping the answers in atheism toast emojis just for you, Mike and Scott as well.
Thank you. Yeah.
And so, but God never has flooded the entire planet again since then. So you look at what the scripture is saying. Some people say, well,
nobody or nothing has ever flooded the entire planet.
As far as the geological consensus, I guess that's right, would be the Earth hasn't been underwater since land first appeared on the planet. So at no time has it been underwater since.
that just couldn't happen. And we can look at that a little bit to see if that's possible. But it would have definitely been a worldwide cataclysmic.
Please do look at that and see if it's possible for the entire goddamn world to be covered with water. Show me the map.
Look up to him for what he says and teaches. I guess they do, or else he wouldn't be at a church.
In the land of magic zoo boats, anything is possible.
Global flood that reshaped the entire surface of the earth. You think about it, if the whole world was underwater, it's been redone. Now people read in Genesis, there was this Tigris and the Euphrates, and now we have the Tigris and Euphrates, and they think that that's maybe where the Garden of Eden was. But those rivers could have just been named after the original ones when they got off the boat, just like we name things in America after cities in Europe. So we don't know where the Garden of Eden was. It was, the whole world was resurfaced. And then
I think
Well,
you
they
need to
could have
talk to
fell off the
Ron.
boat there.
I think
Right,
you need to talk to Ron Wyatt, because I'm pretty sure he found all that stuff.
yeah. So that's where they fell off the boat, basically. Oh my.
Ed says I'm going to hell for that jingle.
You are, yep.
You know what the AI prompt was for that song?
What?
I wanted an annoying little jingle about toast.
Dear ChatGPT, give me a jingle that will drive everybody crazy and make it about toast.
My goodness. I do love when it agrees with you. When you ask something really silly and it says, sure, here's your response about the magic zoo boat.
Yeah, I had a simple phrase, some philosophical problem, and I asked it for a Jordan Peterson parody, and it gave me the perfect Jordan Peterson parody, and I posted it on one of your videos. And then it asked me, do you want me to make it even more insufferable? And I never proceeded because I didn't think that was possible. It couldn't possibly get any more insufferable.
Somewhere out there, a server would have melted trying to make it more insufferable.
Did I say hi to Jackie? If not, hello, Jackie. Bunch of folks are dropping in. Good to see her. We got Hamma Ding Dong. Oh, I love that. That's a great screen name. Hamma Ding Dong. I love it. Isn't this property called properly called creation versus abiogenesis? Evolution is an observed fact. Yeah. Well, he already conflated the two at the beginning. So, whoops, I took it off there. Yeah, they often mix the two up on purpose because they'll say, as usual, they just keep going back and back and back and back and back until you can say, well, we don't know that. And then they'll say, aha. So, old argument, but it seems to be a favorite.
I need to step out for about 10 minutes. I got to make a call. We got a baby crisis. So,
all right.
I got to check on it. I'll be back.
All right. But it looks like it's just me and you, Scott. They're dropping like flies tonight. I did hear from Simos as well. Simos was feeling a little under the weather, so that's why he isn't joining us tonight. And so yeah, we hope Simos feels back up above the weather very soon. And don't forget to check out Simos's link in the description. He has a show on Mondays, and he's doing the State of the Onion on Thursdays. And we were over there having a really great discussion on Thursdays. So make sure you stop in and join in when Simos is on. And again, his link is in the description.
I had to miss this week's State of the Onion. That's what he calls it.
Yep.
I had to miss that this week. I was really sad, but I had a whole lot I had to do around the house to get something done. So
it almost didn't go this week. StreamYard and Google or something was down right up until like a few minutes before he was going to start. So we weren't even sure it was working. But it got up and going, and it turned out to be a really great discussion. He has a lot of great folks joining in over there. So check it out, Simos. It's 5 p.m. Eastern time. It's like 10 o'clock his time, I believe. And again, Simos Funk, link is in the description below.
Get into about 2,000 years ago, that's where Jesus came, died on the cross, rose again, defeated death, paid for our sins, and poured out the Holy Spirit and brought in the kingdom of God, which we are so privileged to be a part of now. And so that's your time. That's your basic timelines right there. of creation versus evolution. And there are some creationists that would make the world older. And I'm going to talk about a couple of those theories, and when you want to call them theories or theologies.
Oh, can hardly wait.
We'll bring that out too. But if you just look at the Bible at face value, literal interpretation, it's giving you about 6,000-year-old Earth. And from the evolutionist point of view, to try to make creation look bad, a lot of times what they'll do is say, well, this is science versus religion. And to try to make it look like this is foolishness. We have the facts. This is science. And they just have faith, and they just have an outdated, irrelevant book. That's how they try to portray it. That it's
because a lot of that stuff is true. A lot of the stuff
old book about civilizations gone by, but they don't appreciate the fact that numbers and dates and lineages were symbolic and political and literary and exaggerated, and that's just look at how old the kings and the Babylonian tablets, king lists and things, how long they supposedly lived. And that's just what they did. They exaggerated things, and they would fit generations numerically to have some sort of theological or a numerology inspired significance. So it was pre-scientific. Well, what word is that? Okay, I'm going to trademark that word. Scientific is what you get when you read a lot and study a lot and get a degree in science. You get a scientificate. But anyway,
absolutely.
It was a pre-scientific culture, a pre-scientific civilization, and you can't, even though you're tempted to, even though it's in the King's English or the Queen's English, it was written even in a language that is dead now. And the things they did to represent years and numbers and calendars and things are just, totally different from what we experience today. So you can't look at it as a literal text because it's a literary text. It's a legendary text. It's a theological text, but it is not a text of science or history.
And while we're taking a pause for a moment, I wanted to play the commercial for the Ark Encounter protest and make sure everybody have a headphone check, because this ad thumps a little bit, all right?
Bump that beautiful boat footage.
Hang on, I gotta share it over here. Okay, here we go.
He makes a statement.
All right. Stop. Okay. ARC protest in 2 weeks, Sunday, July 6th. And as I mentioned earlier, yours truly is going to be there. I'm going to make the trip. Got my room booked, and I will be at the Ark Encounter protest, and we'll probably have, I may click my phone on and do something live or something, so watch for that.
Make sure
Science versus religion.
you turn off the face recognition or fingerprint recognition on your phone then, because if they do send in some MAGA cops to mess with people, they can actually use your own biometrics against you by forcing you to unlock the phone. But if you use a complicated number or whatever, they can't do that. Complicated password.
Yeah, I know they were telling a lot of folks not to take phones to the protests. We don't anticipate any kind of problems like that at this event.
Yeah, but this is MAGA Kentucky now, so you never know what's going on. The thing is, I don't trust Kentucky because I'm always seeing from what's the name of that guy? Oh, I can't remember his channel name, but he's got a beard, and he does the reaction videos to cop people either videoing cops or their body camera footage or whatever.
There's a lot of them.
The civil rights lawyer. He's from West Virginia. He shows a lot of Kentucky stuff, and I just don't trust those cops in Kentucky.
I don't trust the cops anywhere. Standard Deviation wants to know: does your room have a small fridge and a toaster? It says it has a small fridge and a microwave, I believe. So
I'm sure there's a continental breakfast nook down somewhere.
I believe there is a breakfast thing that goes on.
They always have those magic toast makers too that just kind of roll the toast out,
We will have to examine the toast in the morning and see.
Religion. But is it really science versus religion? Is evolution scientific? And that's what we need to look at, because the word science means to know something. And for something to be truly science, it has to be tested, it has to be proven. To be scientific, it has to be observed, it has to be tested, excuse me, and then we have to be able to repeat it in order for it to be legitimate science. So do we observe the creation or the formation of the universe? No, nobody has. Nobody living has. Can we test it? No, we cannot. Can we repeat it? No. So neither one of these belief systems are scientific.
And I just had this discussion with somebody on a video a couple days ago, where I brought up that by using this same standards, there's no sun in the sky then.
Yeah, and there's no chemistry either. By the same standards, because you can't observe atoms uniting, combining. You have to have inference, induction. So
and they want these things like made in a lab too, and it's like you can't make a star in a lab, you can't make a planet in a lab. Some of these things, the way they're interpreting observe and repeat and everything is leaving out things like data that can be repeated and inferred from different sources, and those things then are said, well, we're all coming together with the same numbers, maybe we got some good numbers, let's check it out. Versus some things you can't put actually in the lab itself.
There's a word that describes what he's doing here. It's stupid. It's not ignorant, it's stupid. It's willfully ignorant, and it's just horrible. If we had to observe everything we believed in, we wouldn't believe in much. Like the Bible, for instance. Did you observe that? Did you observe the creation happening? No. Did you observe Adam's rib turning into a woman? No. I don't think so. Anyway.
Both of them require their adherents to believe in something that we can't see. And both of them require us to believe in something that goes beyond just natural phenomenon that we observe.
And we
both
believe
of
in
them
stuff we can't see all of the fucking time. I believe my car's in the garage right now, even though I can't see it. Might not be. Yeah.
Might not be. I don't know. I'll have to go check my garage.
Hey, so I just found out that some nutcake shot 2 senators last night. Went to their house, rang the doorbell at 3 a.m, and shot the senator and their wives in the middle of the night. Some crazy dude posing as a cop, and wearing a mask. Do you hear about this?
I heard.
I heard about it early this morning.
Yeah, I just heard about it now. I didn't pay attention to the news today. We got some nut in Brooklyn Park. That's fortunately that's on the other side of the cities for me. But
I thought they caught him.
They know who he is because they found his car.
I heard there was still a manhunt the last I checked, but that was a little while ago.
Yeah.
Anyway. You know, I'm just going to say this. I'm not blaming anybody. I'm not saying it's their fault. I'm just saying don't answer the door for cops unless they have a warrant.
Yeah.
I guess answer the door. Just don't open the door unless they have a warrant to come into your house.
Yeah, you got to be really careful when somebody comes to your house in the middle of the night and says, "Oh, can I use your phone?" or "Can I, I'm the police," or any of that bullshit. Nobody's getting in my door. So, anyway.
No, never open the door for the cops, even if it's broad daylight.
Yeah, they can call.
Just don't do it.
Give me a call. Let me know what you want.
Or get a warrant. Get a freaking warrant.
Get a warrant. Yeah.
If you have business here, then a judge will be willing to give you a warrant.
Right.
I'm off my high horse now.
Yeah.
I was just checking real quick. Yeah, it doesn't look like the event's getting rained out.
Too bad. So we're having. Oh my God! Like in the 60s, I saw a movie and I'd never been able to find the title of it, but it starts out with this guy riding around the palace in his tank, in a military parade, and it goes through, and there's a whole revolution, and then the guy that takes over at the end of the movie is riding around on his tank around the palace. The very same scene that you saw in the beginning of the movie, the ones they revolted against, and he ends up doing the same thing. And every time I think of Trump riding around on his tank around the palace, I remember that movie.
Okay, well, to sum it up, you've got like the Patriots with the triangle hats, the fife and drums going down the street. And then there seems to be like a progression with Civil War looking army on horseback. And then you have
they dressed him in all the different eras or something like that.
Yeah, and then you got somebody in a white wig and everything. Okay, and we got tanks sitting right in front of Trump's spot there.
And what they say it was going to cost like $16 million to repair the roads after those tanks run over them.
And
how is that worth it? How is that worth it to have a parade?
Doge. Yeah, called Doge. Yeah.
Brass band, a bunch of guys in helmets. They're all marching and saluting as they go by, and might as well be goose stepping. That's pretty sad. You got some vehicles trolling by. Trump giving a sad salute. And it's going into what is this?
Do you think that he's going to come out in one of those third world country banana republic Presidente uniforms?
Yeah, he's got to have camouflage and everything.
Yeah, there's some tanks rolling by, and he's got his grandstand and everything, and he's just ecstatic with the tanks rolling by.
Yep.
There you go.
It only cost $45 million.
That sounds pretty phallic to me.
But we don't want to feed homeless people, but $45 million on this bullshit's okay.
I don't want to share it. I don't know who's covering it here or whatever. But who was it? The AP, Associated Press. I heard a lot of places weren't even going to cover his parade. So, but I had to scroll actually. there were more coverages of the protests than his parade when I looked on my YouTube search.
Yeah.
So, I went to What's Live, and the AP for his parade I had to scroll down to. So maybe that's a good sign. People are covering the protests and not his parade. But it did go off. It doesn't look like it's raining. So, well.
Yeah.
Somebody didn't pray hard enough, atheists.
Yeah. we didn't manifest our toast in the right direction.
We did not make it rain. We apparently do not have the ability to bring the rain. So.
Damn. I was counting on it.
Me too. There was a chance, and they have cloudy skies, but it seems to be holding off, at least so far. Let's see, half hour in. I think they said it's like an hour long. So, they managed to have most of the parade anyways. So there's your update, folks.
So standard deviation, I'm fairly old. When I was born, there were only 48 states. When I was born, there were only 14. But I remember the Weekly Reader, when we got the 50th state. I remember the Weekly Reader coming out. It was a big deal when I was in elementary school. Yeah. Hawaii became, I was at Alaska. I can't fucking remember. One of those places. One of those weird ass states that we didn't ask for.
Good to see you, Jasper. And thanks for the membership. And hope to see you at the Night Watch as well. And I'll probably do a member stream this week too. So I'm all caught up for the month. And then I remember the following week, I'm going to be in Kentucky. So we'll see what we're going to do about Saturday Night at the Atheist. If nothing else, I'll just go live and
maybe I'll host it.
Or, you can host it, and I can drop in and tell you what's going on or something.
Yeah, that'd be good. That'd be good. Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, you can drop in and make me feel bad about not being there. Yeah, that'll be good. Yeah. Okay.
We'll do something like that. And I said, wandering around, I'll probably, pop my phone on or something, and say, hey, this is what we're doing. Here's who's here, what's going on, type thing, how it is. So, we'll figure out something. And like I say, I'll try to get video and pictures and all that kind of stuff. And I understand there's supposed to be somebody there's videographing and photos and everything as well and stuff. So I imagine there'll be a lot of coverage of it between everybody. So it should be well covered event.
Yeah.
Require a tremendous amount of faith in things we don't see. So it's not science versus religion. It's religion versus religion, because both sides, both arguments have to believe in something that we can neither see, observe, test, or prove. But let's just be logical.
So that's what religion is believing in things that we can't see. Like I believe my car's in the garage right now and I can't see it. So that's a religion. So isn't he kind of spreading the religion a little thin?
Yeah, so he's equivocating big time.
Yeah.
And if he's getting it from Ken Ham, that's his whole shtick that he sets up that, well, yes, we have a religion, but so do you. That's how he wants to set it up.
Shit, I better go check, see if my car's in the garage.
It may have manifested into a toaster.
Manifested.
Or check your kitchen.
Yeah.
Is it more logical to look at something, a building, and say there was a designer to this, or a automobile or an airplane, and say this shows incredible design?
I've heard this before.
Yeah, heard that one.
This is just weak ass stuff told in a weak ass way.
There must be a designer behind that, or to just say, man, this thing just must have just made itself out of nothing. So it's more actually logic.
And now look at the blob of mud. Wow, obviously a designer made that blob of mud, then it doesn't seem so profound, right?
Or a fresh cow pie. I mean, you look at that and you say, oh my God, there must have been a designer. There must have been a cow somewhere.
I know our cows just spend hours designing their
designing it.
their
Yeah.
allies before they plop them down.
Yeah, I smell the watchmaker too there, Geo Sam. It's a classic. Of course, it's going to resurface.
God, do these people think?
Some of this stuff circles and circles. It never goes down. You know what I mean?
Scientists, evolutionists, or whatever you call them, biologists,
Evolutionists.
they will
Evolution.
study soil samples around, around the fossil layers that they're working on. They will take measurements and check out the angles of the way bones attach to one another, the fossil bones or whatever. They'll compare across species and with other similar finds and create charts and tables, and they will do radiometric testing of any rocks or layers, or maybe some of the ash that's in a layer above or below where they're digging. Of course, in cosmology, you have all sorts of measuring instruments that observe phenomena going on, and then you have the different evolutionary and cosmological and geological theories about plate tectonics, where people study this stuff just fastidiously. Is that the right word, fastidious?
Yep.
Fastidiously, whatever. They study hard, they study along, and they're very focused, and they use scientific observation, which is basically measurement more than it is me seeing it with my eyeballs, because you just seeing it with your eyeballs ain't good enough. It's not exact or precise enough. And so compare that to the theologian or the preacher from week to week. All they got to do is feel like God told them to say something, and boom, they're which one's more like a religion? Yeah. It's the one where you're just saying, "Oh, God wants me to say this because I feel fuzzy inside," or "I'm mad today for some reason." Oh, and it's God's righteous indignation. I want to shout at some people about something. That's religion, because it's not only is it based on what you can't see, it's based on nothing but your feelings. And feelings are fine. Feelings are valid, but you have to call it what it is. One is based on a method to obtain knowledge and discover truth, and with a little t, truths, a bunch of little truths, things that are true. And another one is seeking to find the bigger answers in life, but also you don't have very strict and demanding criteria. So which one's more like a religion? It's Mr. Ed there, not Mr. Rabbit Atheist. It's Mr. Ed Anderson there. His life is more like a religion. It's not near.
And if it is a religion, is he saying that we should never believe any religion?
Well, I don't really believe any religion, so okay.
Well, I don't know. I mean,
but yeah, what he's saying is muddled, and his thinking is imprecise. And he's just in it to schmooze with the people and get them to give money, and all that.
Yeah, he doesn't look very happy in this picture we throws on here.
I see Ember stopping by. Hello, Ember. Good evening.
Hi, Ember. Fascists and zealots. Two groups of people think just declaring things makes them true.
Yeah, we were just mentioning them. They're having a parade with lots of tanks and trucks and artillery but everybody seems to be smiling though. The people in the tanks are smiling and waving. They're not,
I think they were having a good time. Yeah,
they're not stuck in salute mode or anything.
Well, yeah, you know how boring their lives are normally. It's like, hey, we're going to have a parade. It's like, oh, will there be balloons?
Yeah,
It'll
I'm not
hookers
holding
and-
against.
hookers and ponies.
Yeah, I'm not holding against any of the military in the parade thing here. Of course,
It's just not a
they're
good look.
our finest and everything. Of course,
It's a bad
it's-
look for a democracy.
Yeah. But anyways, he got it. Yeah, I'm just looking here. It looks like it's pretty light there, so I don't think it's gonna. Of course, a well-placed lightning bolt.
Yeah. We can pray.
And it's more scientific to believe that there was a designer and a creator behind the process.
Why? Explain that.
Yeah, it's just was it a bull? Just an assertion without anything to back it up. That's it.
So that's kind of an overview there. The thing about evolution is that it.
And he's got a squeaky chair, by the way.
He does.
Absolutely requires billions of years, because they say that these things happen very, very slowly. A couple branches of evolution say, well, they actually happen real quick. There was these quick genetic changes, and then they just boom happen. But most of them say it was very, very slow process over time.
A couple of branches, eh? Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. You know what else happened real slowly over time? Rocks, and things like that. Yeah. And there are geologists crawling all over the earth like ants. And in every spot of the earth, they have worked out the macro scale, what's happening with the rocks. And they've gone down to the micro scales. So a geologist can stand there out in the field and look at a rock wall that they cut a highway through, and he can tell you exactly what happened and how many goddamn millions of years ago it happened. And there is no story in the Bible about mud flowing around and tsunamis washing across the earth that's going to create those rock formations the way they are currently. And these guys totally ignore that. So billions of years, yeah, there had to be.
Dr. Joel, I believe, mentioned that Ken Ham could have a great attraction at his Ark Park because it's sitting on a giant geological column of fossils. And he could literally dig a trench, and have people walk through and see. But he doesn't really want to do that. And here's an interesting thing. Ken Ham has a fossil hunt for the folks. It's you pay $10 or whatever and you look for fossils, right? And he's got the the sleuth system and everything all set up, right?
Yep.
But he imports bags of fossils. Even though he's literally sitting on a hill of them, the fossils you're getting, he imports, and they mix it in the dirt for the folks to find and stuff. So, that's he doesn't want you to know that he's actually built his place on a literal hill of fossils, because it's built on a big hill, right? So, it's literally a hill of geological layers. And I bet you he'll never want folks to go digging around it, though. No, it was very interesting when he was talking about it.
Standard deviation is the last quote. You should put it up. I can remember. It's just wonderful. This is a good one. I like it.
I can remember when rocks were still soft and the Dead Seas before it was even sick. When it still had a cold.
It still had a cold, yeah.
Just because you add millions of years and say something can happen if you give it enough time, that's not science.
What?
And guess what, jerk face? Scientists don't say that.
They don't do that.
Yeah.
So, give me a jar of time off the shelf. I'm going to put it in this beaker, and behold.
If I said I got up really quickly and started flapping my arms and flew around the building, flew around the church.
I'd like to see
in
that.
5 minutes. Well, you'd say that's nonsense. But if I said, well, over a long period of time, I slowly just levitated off the ground and flew around the building over a long, it's still baloney.
It's the same thing, because
That's pretty bad.
if you were slowly doing it, we could bring a lunch and we could watch you slowly fly around.
Slowly flap your wings and slowly. That is a really bad one. I mean,
you leave the ground and give a good flap, and that you don't have to go all the way around the church. Okay. You get airborne. You got me. Okay. That's all you got to do.
God, I wish these guys were on, like, sitting on a seat, right, over a tub of water, and you had some balls that you could throw when they do stuff like this, and dump them just dump them. I mean, this guy he deserves to get dumped in a tub of water. It's just like, that's pretty bad.
Trusty Ape says,
wet.
G-Man still begging for Deconstruction Zone to pay attention to him is the funniest thing I've seen this year. Is that G-Man?
G-Man is still around.
I know praise went around or two over there with
oh no,
the Deconstruction Zone. So you had enough of G-Man already, huh? That didn't last very long. I saw a video. G-Man had, somebody just said, is G-Man still around? And then I saw he had a video out. So I guess, yeah.
No shit. Wow.
Hey, Let's Farm. How you doing? Good to see you. Yeah, so G-Man's still around. Yeah, so beware.
Is it a site called G-Man?
I don't really know.
He's got 80,000 subscribers.
Could be.
Another one has 699,000. It's like, no, I don't know. Maybe these are some other G-Man. Anyway. Oh my goodness.
It doesn't happen either way, no matter how much time you give it. It's just not possible. So, but if we go through and we look at the scriptures and we look at the actual facts, we look at the earth, we can come to some conclusions that the millions and billions of years are not valid. We get rid of that, and evolution is done. It's over with. So
you just say, well, there was never that amount of time, and so that gets rid of evolution.
Yeah.
That was easy. And there's Jess in the chat. Speaking of the ARC protest, hello, Jess. Jess has been helping a lot with Joe and other folks organizing the event, and I am going to be there in 2 weeks. I'm going to be in Kentucky. Can't believe it. I'm going to be near Ken Ham proximity. I'm already getting the creeps. We had some fun at Ken Ham's expense earlier, Jess, and of course, as we usually do, and pointing out some of the reasons that it gets protested is the pseudoscience and whatnots that come out of that place. And that's one of my biggest issues. It has been for a long time. So I guess this is overdue, because the whole creationism thing goes back for me really to running into Ken Ham on a part-time Christian cable access channel long time ago.
You have to talk to him?
No, I could.
Oh,
right. They ran one of his videos.
Okay.
And I just couldn't believe. I mean, yeah. I was probably laughing. It was like when I was a teenager or something, it's like, oh my gosh, this guy's great. You know what I mean? Listen to this nonsense he's talking, So I'm sitting there watching, and then it dawns on me, oh my gosh, how many people believe this? And then of course, it came along with Facebook and all these things came along, and then finding out who Ken Ham was, and it's like, oh my gosh, and yeah, he's the one that got me really interested in all that this thing was actually a real thing, because I was a little naive. I didn't grow up with it or anything.
Yeah.
So I assume most people had a basic understanding of science, and it turns out about a quarter of our population doesn't, and then even more, up to about 40-50% start believing in some sort of the creation story, at least parts of it.
Yeah, I think I was 50 before I realized that there were people that believe this bullshit. I mean, it was before that I was attributed to crackheads, that they were just some crackheads talking.
Well, there's always some people spouting some nonsense, and usually it's entertaining, right?
Yeah.
But as a lot of us know anything about Ken Ham, over the years, the nonsense from a part-time thing, or Hovind doing his videos or whatever, Ham has grown into a big powerhouse over there. He's got a lot of money. He's got a lot of political friends. And all these things are a big issue. And again, why there's going to be a protest in a couple weeks in Kentucky. So there you go.
Amazing
I'm
how
going to
money
be in Kentucky. I'm going to be in Kentucky. No offense, Robin.
Amazing how money and political influence go together. I think.
Last time I was in Kentucky, I was working there, and a lot of times when you're working out of town all by yourself, you go have a few drinks and kick back in your hotel room, watch a movie or something, And I was in a dry county, so it was really a boring evening in the hotel room with nothing to drink.
Last time I was in Kentucky, it was to buy cigarettes for $1 a pack because they didn't charge tax on them. So I went and bought 10 cartons at some tobacco emporium or something south of Cincinnati, and I was scared to death. I was scared the whole time I was there.
That's exactly where we're going to be, because you just take 75 right on down to Cincinnati, and then 75 and 71 join up, and they kind of jog over a little bit. It takes you right into where we're going. So.
Yeah, when I talked, I swear all their ears perked up just like canines, or like wolves. Their ears just perked up when they heard my Minnesota accent, and I just got the hell out of there as fast as I could.
I'm gonna stand behind Joe. So
yeah, don't talk. Don't let them hear your accent, man. Or
Well, it looks like I say, there's at least a group of us that are all going to be in the same hotel block. So
yeah,
that'll be cool. And then I guess some other folks are getting what you call B&B or something for the weekend or something. And I don't know about others, but others are. I know some folks are staying at some other places too, I guess. Let's see. We got not only the lineup that was in the ad, but there's a bunch of other people that are going, that are just, smaller channels like us, so there's going to be a bunch of other people there too, not just the headliners, right? So there's going to be a whole bunch of us. I say, there's Jess, Jess and Joe and all the good folks.
Oh, I got an idea. Back in the day when I was on the road, we used to sneak into libraries and wait until the library closed and sleep there overnight. You could sneak into the Ark and sleep there overnight. Wouldn't that be awesome? Ride the dinosaurs, and yeah, that'd be a good time. Get some gummies and some mushrooms and and film it all. Wouldn't that be great? A bunch of atheists riding Ken's dinosaurs.
That's the thing. I mean, I don't know if I could contain my laughter. You know what I mean? Going to some place like that because it's just, I don't know.
how to rule an asteroid. I think he's referring to who is it? Hovind, the young'un. What's his name? Eric.
Eric.
Hovind, yeah, his movie or whatever.
Yeah.
Yeah, Night at the Museum or something.
Yeah.
Night at the Ark.
That's a weird thing. Like Kent and Ken Ham kind of had a falling out. They really don't mention each other a lot. They don't say anything much either way.
No, they don't acknowledge each other's existence.
But Eric is over there friendly with Ken Ham, and so's Ray Comfort.
Yeah.
And so I don't know. Hawaiian shirt guy said something about showing up at the protest. I don't know if he's going to do it or not. I know in the past, I'm pretty sure Eric Hovind was at a protest. I think there's a video of him and Aaron Ra having a discussion or something at the protest, if I remember right.
Yeah.
And speaking of, I spoke to Seth, and sorry, I got a siren going off here.
Eric is kind of a dipshit, but when you compare Eric to Kent, I think that's proof of evolution.
I spoke.
Yeah, he's definitely better than his dad.
I did speak to Seth. You remember Seth? He worked at the Ark Park, and we had him on the channel a couple of times. Seth is going to try to be at the protest as well, and I did drop a line to Dan Phelps as well. Now, of course, Dan doesn't get around as well as he used to, so but I did let him know anyways, right? So if it's possible, maybe he would be there. You don't know, but we can't count on it. Dan doesn't get around like he used to. So, but we wish him our best. But Seth said, he's going to try to make it. So maybe I can meet Seth in person too. That would be really neat. And hello, Poor Claire. How are you doing? Thank you for stopping by. And of course, Jess and Joe and, how many Robin and all the folks and everything. There's just so many. We talk all the time, and, it's these opportunities where we can actually meet up and meet each other in person, and kind of neat, right? So, that'll be fun.
We'll look at that a little bit, but I want to go into some of the definitions of evolution, and this is what would, come from some of your textbooks. The basic word just means change over time. And so you've got, say, cosmic evolution.
Uh-oh.
No.
Uh-oh. I smell a Hovind. I was
about to say that too. It stinks of Hovind.
Stinks. Yep.
And that's where they talk about the origin of the universe, basically the Big Bang. That's where they say that's cosmic evolution. And then you get into narrowing it down. Within that is stellar evolution. That's where stars form.
Yep, I smell a Hovind.
Yeah.
Well, guess what? We have no idea how stars form.
We don't.
No.
I think we have a pretty good idea how stars form.
Never seen one. Have you seen one form?
As a matter of fact, when they bring this up, I point out that Hubble has photographed stellar nurseries.
Yeah.
So, yeah.
We do have photographs of stars in their various stages of formation.
Yep.
And maybe Ed ought to think about, before he opens his trap about scientific matters, maybe read some of the scientific literature.
This is a Hovind argument that we see stars go supernova and die, but you never see new stars. And it's like, yes, we do. There they are, the Hubble images. I believe that's the name of the thing. You go there and you can find them, but I'm sure he doesn't want to go find them. Yeah. But they exist.
That's not observable. We've seen many nova or supernova, which is basically the death of a star. but we do not see any forming. We don't have even a good idea. It's not an observable phenomenon. We cannot observe star formation.
That's just factually wrong, Mr. Ed. Maybe you should read some scientific literature.
And there is understanding of how it gets exponentially more dense and everything, and then the nuclear reaction starts when you have enough material. That's pretty basic, and then you got nuclear fusion furnace going on and fireball. Of course, there's no air in space, so you can't have fire. I forgot. But no understanding at all. I mean, I have some understanding of how stars form. So there is an understanding out there because I got it from somewhere.
And then you've got chemical evolution, which is, one chemical changing to another.
Yeah. What's your problem with that?
Yeah.
Chemical evolution. Is that what they call? No, that's what they call that. They call it fusion, I think is what he's talking about, right?
I guess one chemical becomes another.
We have any examples of fusion? Have we observed any fusion events in the last 70 years? I don't know. I think we have.
Yeah, we did.
And then you go from chemical evolution to organic evolution, which basically that's where you get into non-living things turning into living things. And that's kind of where most people start, but it does go way farther back beyond that.
Okay, so we got all the way back. That's the Hovind list. I think there's 6 or 7 of them.
Yeah.
And then you have, within organic evolution, you have something called macroevolution, which is one type of animal changing to another.
Okay, that's evolution. That's the only one that's called evolution so far that he's mentioned.
And I'll talk a little bit more about the acronym FARM, fish, amphibians, reptiles, mammals, is basically how they say that progressed. And then beyond that, you have something called microevolution, which means changes within the kind or changes within the species. Of all of those ones we just looked at, the only one that actually happens is microevolution.
No chemicals are formed? Is that what he's saying? I don't know.
No, yeah, all that. Yeah. What happened to the chemicals becoming chemicals?
I don't know.
Who has anybody checked on the chemicals?
Yeah.
My gosh, who's checked on the chemicals? Where are the chemicals?
Where are the chemicals?
I know. And of course, it's a terrible argument to agree with microevolution because you have all the same mechanisms powering microevolution as you have macroevolution. And then it's, you can take one step, but one step will never equal 10 steps or 100 steps.
Right.
And yes, it will. So I don't think it's a good argument when they say, we accept microevolution, because how do you distinguish that from any other evolution?
Right. And Let's Farm mentions that you can check photos that are decades apart and there will be new stars. And yes, we have observed new stars in fields where they weren't before. So obviously we've seen stars appear. So we've seen stars born. What we haven't seen is the entire process, because you can't, because it takes too long. We don't have enough patience for that.
Heck no, we don't. Especially the creationists. They like I say, they want exact answers to every possible question they could think of, or all the science isn't any good. But then Pastor Ed here is throwing back a rough estimate, and I'm like, that's cheating, Pastor Ed.
Changes within a kind. You get dogs with spots, you get cats with stripes, you get sometimes a fat cat or a skinny cat or a cat with long legs or a cat with a puffy tail. But guess what? They're always cats. They're always dogs.
Yeah, but guess what? Cats and dogs have a common ancestor, and it wasn't a cat or a dog. Think on that one for a while, Pastor Ed.
Never turn into another species. So there are limits.
Yes, they did.
Within. And God made it that way. You have an animal called a mule, which is the hybrid of a a donkey and a horse. So a donkey and a horse can reproduce, just like when the Bible said they reproduce after their kinds. God put some shutoffs in there. So, because once you get a donkey and a horse, you get a mule. That mule cannot reproduce and make more mules. You can only get mules by breeding donkeys and horses, and then it shuts off.
And it's because there's something in the ring species that allows enough for reproduction, but messes it up, right, Mike? It has something to do with some of the genetics not lining up right. Isn't that what it is?
I was just talking to my kid, but did he just use donkeys and mules to say that there's a shutoff between speciation?
Well, he's basically saying that you can cross some of these, to get donkeys and mules, but they're usually sterile.
Yeah. And that's because of how the chromosomes line up.
Right. That's what I was thinking.
Or, they might line up once, but the second time they're just not going to make it. But we know how that works. So what is he saying? It's a shutoff that God put in there, so that one species can't turn into another. Like
to prevent speciation, there's a shutoff.
But wait a minute, aren't donkeys and mules and horses all the same kind anyway? So didn't whatever jumped off the ark turn into horses and mules or donkeys?
Yeah, it has.
I mean,
it has to be God's will, right?
Is he denying that part? Okay. So why doesn't
Native Atheist? What's up, Native Atheist?
Why didn't the shutoff work for whatever jumped off the ark, turning into donkeys and mule or horses? I don't, and zebras, because they're all supposed to be the same kind.
And it doesn't always work. It doesn't always work. There's only certain species where these things work too.
See, these people don't think. They don't think more than they don't think at all about what's coming out of their mouths. What the fuck is wrong with these people?
And some of these oddities, like you said, are interesting because we learn why it doesn't work, right? You can check the genetics and everything and learn, more about evolution and speciation, and why you can't do what a lot of them ask is to make a crocoduck, right? You want the crocodile and the duck to get together and make a happy crocodile duck, right?
Yeah.
So that's what they're trying to get around, is somehow it's like they want completely different species to reproduce and then produce a new species, which is very mythological, but I don't think it has anything to do with evolution, which is why I think that's what they're asking for, because it's something that's, so ridiculous it's not going to be answered.
Those are still, I would say a donkey and a horse are still basically the same kind of an animal. They're in the horse family. But once they go so far, the genetics just turn off, and these animals are sterile, they're infertile, and you can't go very far. You can only go certain limits with that for it to
be
okay, so
observable.
Yeah. So we can only go so far after the ark, and then no more kinds. So that's what he's saying. So So the horse kind, we got modern domestic horse, we got domesticated African wild ass, which is a donkey. We got African striped equids. We got Asian wild ass, Tibetan wild ass. A lot of wild ass going on here. Anyway, and then some extinct horses, which they also have to account for. And okay. And mules and hinnies, which are hybrids. So anyway, those are all the kinds.
Yeah, and obviously these shutoffs must have been in place, but they didn't work when all the animals got off the ark. When they got off the ark, there didn't seem to be any shutoffs going on, because you could do it with anything after that. Yeah. God
puts his foot down on the mule. He says, nope, no more. No more kinds. We got enough kinds.
and if it's allowed somehow, even though it can't reproduce again or whatever, indirectly, however, God still allows this thing to somewhat make another
kind. Yeah.
Yeah, try to at least, right?
Yeah.
If there's this true cutoff, it would be like a true cutoff between species, where if two species, got together, nothing's going to happen, right? It might, have a good evening and have a smoke afterwards, but there's not going to be half a duck and half a crocodile, right?
Yeah, and he must be thinking that the cutoff is like there's a little switch somewhere or a spigot or something you can just shut off in the genome. And he's imagining this because he is a dipshit and he doesn't know anything about anything. But if he knew what actually happens to prevent that being a viable new species, he wouldn't be saying what he's saying. He'd shut up.
All right, I'm gonna hit this clip real quick, and I'm gonna grab me a pop while I do. So I will be back like real fast.
I should grab me something.
And hello, Mark Reed. Good to see you.
Hey, Mark. Hi, Mark.
Good morning to you. And Satchel is in here as well. All right, yeah, I'm going to hit this because I need a pop. And I'll be right back. And here we go.
Do observe changes within the species, changes within a kind. Like I said, big cats, little cats, short hair, long hair. You see all those type of things. But evolution claims because we observe those changes within a species or within a kind of animal, that all other types of evolution must be true. And that is the evidence right there, that because there are changes within a species, everything else, life evolved from non-life. And Darwin, by the way, based all of his theory of evolution on this. And by the way, Charles Darwin, most people don't even know this, he was not even a scientist. He did not have a science degree. Charles Darwin actually went to Bible school. He wanted to.
Irrelevant.
Yeah, and Charles Darwin.
How many scientists of that age actually had a science degree? Did they even have science degrees?
Right. Yeah, I don't think there was such a thing then. So
that's one of the things I often say when it so-called geologists or whatever, because mostly they were like called naturalists and things like that. They had different terms for them, and yeah, there wasn't really degrees, and there also wasn't really again a reason for a lot of people to want to have that as some kind of a job, because there really wasn't a job. Nowadays, geologists could work for, oil companies and all kind of things. A friend of mine had a degree in chemistry, and he ended up working for the county or whatever. He was the guy that tested to make sure the asphalt was mixed right, so the road would hold together. So yeah, there's all these fields for these people. When back in the day it was like, I want to do this science stuff or whatever, and they're like, and how's that gonna feed me, or you know what I mean? And so it was, and that's also why a lot of the clergy did science, or
because they had nothing
science.
else to do.
Yeah, they had the time and the extra money and the the communal thing going, and everything. Yeah.
A quick inquiry with via co-pilot. Basically, no, they didn't have science degrees. You would get a degree in natural philosophy, maybe, or you would get a degree in medicine and things like that. But you would be a gentleman's scholar. So in your spare time as an avocation, you would pursue studies in what we would call today's science. And Charles Darwin was just like all the other ones. He had an interest in studying and classifying the animals of I forget, I don't know what that section is called, that ended up being his great study about the finches and things. And eventually he wrote a book about his theories how one species becomes another species. Not necessarily, I mean, it wasn't about how animals, and plants first began. It was how do things speciate, and he came up with his natural selection.
And I want to point out that what his argument was that he presented just in the last minute was that we see changes in species today, and then we just say, oh, so these little changes happen, so big changes must have happened, as if we don't know anything about how those big changes happen. But he is ignoring the fact that we have basically bioinformatics, and we have embryology, and we have molecular biology, and we know a great deal about how fins turn into limbs, and livers evolve, and a whole bunch of other stuff. And he's implying that none of that science exists. And the reason he's implying that is because he's an idiot, and he doesn't know that any of that exists. I just want to point that out. An idiot, again, is willfully ignorant. He won't go look. He won't check into it. All you got to do is Google, how did the liver evolve? For fuck's sake. That's all you got to do is Google, how did this evolve? How did that evolve? And you'll end up with thousands of papers telling you how it evolved. But no, he wouldn't do that because he's an idiot.
And we've got Spooky Bed here, spooking up the chat. Good to see you, Spooky.
Oh, and by the way, that's not my religion. I have observed Ed being an idiot. I mean, I've seen it.
And Tilting Windmill, appreciate in the chat. And yeah, once again, check out our description. We have the best description around. Everybody's links below, as well as affiliate links, as well as if you want to get a hold of information about the ARC protest, go to Discord. Go to Joe's page. He's got a special little drop down there. Gives you, excuse me, man, am I dry? What the heck did we have for dinner? That fried chicken. It was all that salt.
Good.
It was good, but I'm thirsty.
I sprinkled chicken. I sprinkled chicken on my salt. I love salt with sprinkled chicken on it.
Oh, it was good, but mouth is very dry. Yeah. He's got a drop down with all the affiliate stuff and information that you need to know to get there and all that good stuff. So, as well as he has affiliate discount code that's down there below too. And Bree at HiveSci has got her merch link down there. You're going to need a new t-shirt at some point, right? So go over and get one from HiveSci. Support Bree over there. I know, ever since Bree moved and everything, it's starting all over for her and everything. So, if you can help her out, you're going to need a t-shirt, right? So get yourself a t-shirt from Bree. I'm just saying. And as well as Topdawg and links for Mike Answers in Atheism and Simos Funk, who again does a show on Mondays and Thursdays. Mondays usually racing, Thursdays State of the Onion, where we've had some really great discussions going on over there. 5 p.m. Eastern time. Stop by State of the Onion. Simos Funk is also linked in the description. And we have memberships at the captive desk. So if you want to get in on the fun little emojis we have, and I just added the Magic Zoo Boat emoji to celebrate the trip to Kentucky.
Where is Simos?
Simos said he was feeling a little under the weather this evening.
Okay.
He sent me a message. I hope you're feeling better, Simos, and we'll catch you soon. So yeah, he did let me know. Not tonight. Catch you next time. So and we do miss you, Simos.
We do.
To be, he wanted to be a pastor of a church. So his
I think Darwin had an issue with not wanting to be a pastor. Isn't that what happened?
Yeah, he didn't want to. Yeah, he didn't want to do that. It was boring for him, so he's shopping around for something else to do. So, how much we got left here, Dave? I'm burning out.
Yeah, well, it's about 8:00 anyways, so just a couple more minutes anyways. So.
Okay.
You can always drop out whenever you want to, Mike.
I feel like a loser when I do that.
All right. Well,
but I am.
Right.
I am.
Well, let's do the full time then. We'll go a couple more minutes and we'll wrap it up officially. All right.
Okay, I'll hang in there.
We'll see what he's got here. We always try to give everybody a good try, right? Yeah, Simos Funk link is in the description, Jackie. State of the Onion on Thursdays. We have great talk over there. And what was the other thing? Oh, I got sidetracked.
I don't know.
Okay, anyway.
Hurry up.
Education is actually in theology. But after graduating college, he went on a trip to the Galapagos and he read a book
Who cares?
called Principles of Geology. And he went and studied finches, which are small birds in the Galapagos. So we can show how phony this is.
I'm gonna go ahead and skip to the end because he's got a classic at the end, and then we'll wrap it on that. So let me skip to the end.
We can start.
Enough about
dead white person. I'll let you take it away. In the world,
I'm proud of it. A petty.
This oldest events in history, but many theologians believe Job is actually the oldest book, even though it takes place later. Job would have lived shortly after the flood, so he's after Noah and them, and based on his lifespan, he would have lived shortly after. But the story of Job is, in a nutshell, is he was a righteous man, and the devil said to God, "See, God, he only serves you because you give him all the stuff." And God's like, "Watch, I'll let you take it away, and he'll still serve me." So God let Job go through a lot of stuff. His kids died. He lost his house. His wife complained. His friends just came
what
over
a dick!
Told him all the stuff he was wrong.
What a dick! Okay, he's Job. God is your friend. So just to prove that you're really a true friend, he killed your wife and kids and took all your shit away. Like, what a dick!
And Job was righteous. Okay, he was a good man. He followed God. Okay, yeah.
It's like, what a dick! Not a good friend.
Just to win a bet. And somebody was just mentioning it earlier that losing a child and then having somebody give you another one in replacement is not the same thing, right?
No.
It's not the same as, your neighbor borrows your rake and breaks it and they say, "Oh man, sorry." And they buy you a new rake and you say, "Hey, thank you very much. That's a neighborly thing to do," right? It's not a big deal, but sorry, I broke your offspring. let me get you another one. It's not the same thing. It's just not.
So Mark Reed, I do agree that a new wife is really good every now and then. I've had a couple of them, and
yeah, So that was the deal. Well, here's some new ones, right?
Yeah.
New
wife is good.
Here's some new ones, because it's setting up that they're nothing but property, just the same as a rake or a shovel, right? So it's not a good look, no.
Doing, and then at the end, God decides to just talk to Job through a whirlwind,
right?
And this is actually God.
All right, get to the other
lies
part.
Under the lotus plants.
Okay, here we go.
It's the foremost of God's 40, and this is what God says to Job. He says, "Look at Behemoth." So he says, or the King James Bible says, "Behold." That means you can see this thing. You can go take a look at it. He says, "Which I made along with you." In other words, I created this thing same time I created you. So here he's saying that this creature and people were created together.
Okay. It
says he eats grass like an ox.
Yeah.
Look at the strength of his loins and the power in the muscles of his belly. Yeah. He stiffens his tail like a cedar tree.
Yeah.
It didn't say cedar tree. It said cedar.
But did you hear what he said, though? He read the version where it says he stiffens his tail
Stiff
like a cedar tree, right? And that's one of the versions I traced back to the earliest versions of this are, it stiffens its tail like a cedar tree, because it's talking about something that you stiffen. Okay? And us guys know what that is.
Yeah, maybe. Yeah.
Okay? Talking about something that it stiffens. It's not the size of, it's that it makes it as stiff as.
The tendons of his thighs are woven firmly together. His bones are bronze tubes. His limbs are...
Yeah, and see, that makes no sense. His bones are, bronze too. What the nonsense? I mean, is this thing half mechanical or
like
something?
Iron rods. He is the foremost of God's works.
Right.
Only his maker can draw the sword against him.
Yeah.
The hill, yield food for him, while all sorts of wild animals play there.
Yep. And see, that's one of the things that suggests there that it's never been tamed by man. And you know what? Hippo don't care, okay? Even the elephant's been tamed by man, sort of. Not a hippo. Not the hippo.
He lies under the lotus plants.
There we go. It lies under the lotus plants. Now, they're trying to say that a sauropod dinosaur, one of the biggest animals to walk the earth ever, if not ever, I think it's the biggest, the big dinosaurs, okay?
How big are those lotus plants?
The lying under the shade of the lotus and everything. I'm like, no, it doesn't.
Hiding in the protection of marshy reeds. Lotus plants cover him with their shade. The willows by the brook surround him. Yep. Though the river rages, Behemoth is unafraid. He remains confident, even if the Jordan surges.
Yeah, and
so how does the hippo? Okay, cedars are real big, flat-leaved evergreens, and they wave in the wind, back and forth. The branches, and it says "moveth like a cedar tree." It doesn't say cedar. It doesn't say cedar tree. It doesn't say "moveth like the trunk of the." I mean, like, how does the trunk of a cedar move? It doesn't. It's pretty goddamn stuck in the ground. The top of the tree and all the branches wave back and forth.
And none of the versions, no matter which ones you go through, none of them make it a size of a tree issue. It's all, it moves as, it's as stiff as, it's liketh unto a cedar, things like that. Never about the size. It's about that it's hard like a piece of wood. Giggity.
Standard deviation.
And when I did my video on this, my conclusion is they were looking at a big old hippo member. Okay.
Yeah.
And the thing with the hippo is when it gets happy, it kind of points backwards. Because, they to do their business, it's not going, so it's kind of already pre-angled. So when they're just standing there, it's obvious between their legs, right? And I concluded that that's not the tail they're talking about. And there's a good reason to beware of the hippo, all right?
Yeah.
I saw a hippo. Go ahead.
Hippos wag their tails when they're defecating. It's called muck spreading.
Yeah, and they also warn you with that as well. Yes.
And it looks like a cedar tree to me. So anyway.
And the thing is, it lies covertly, and that's what hippos do. That's why their eyes and nose and everything are all on top. They can lie covertly in the water. A lot of the descriptions are, and ultimately, you don't want to mess with a hippo. Okay. I saw a hippo chasing a boat with an outboard motor on it, full throttle, making a big old wake behind, and the hippo's right in stride, almost catching the boat. Hippos don't care. They will attack your boat, and they're one of the top animals that unalive people every year. Okay, it's something. If there's a reason the story is in there, and it's about a hippo, which usually in the footnotes in the Bible that has the footnote thingies, it will say a hippo. There, I think, is a great reason to warn people: do not mess with a hippo.
Or God. Or God, because he'll kill your family.
Oh, there's Simos saying hello.
Hello. Hello, hello.
Hello.
I've had a
It's
bit of
only
a
have a-
kip.
Simon, glad to see you.
Thank you so much.
You
I've
got
had
a
a bit of
cold
a-
or huh?
No, I don't know what it is exactly. It's just this infection that's lingering and it's hard to get rid of. And it just hits me sometimes. So I thought, I couldn't do it. But I've had a bit of a kip and I kind of got up and went, okay. Oh, they're still on. I'll just drop in and say hi. Why not?
Yeah, we were just learning about the dinosaur in the Bible classic with Behemoth here, and
nice.
This is the end of his little video here, and then we were going to wrap things up with the end of his video. So
no worries. No worries.
Yeah, we're just wondering about you.
Yeah, I would have a lot of kind people in chat, so I thought I can't leave it out. I'll just jump in. But yeah, dinosaurs. I mean, is it possible?
I don't
You know what I mean?
You know, I think people would have wrote a little more about it than this one Behemoth story. You're right in the middle of another story. I think they would have talked about it a little bit more if we had sauropods walking around. I don't know.
Well, and it's nothing new from what I can when I was making my video about it and I was looking around. It's been pretty much the footnotes for a long time that it was talking about a hippo. So it's to drag this thing up again. Creationists, most of this stuff is a modern thing. Okay, they like to pretend that this is the stuff that was, what do you call it, doctrine or whatever, for a long time, and it's not.
100% not.
Yeah, so for a long time they've said, I call it the footnotes, whatever they might call it in the Bible. I think it's the same thing. The reference or whatever is notes or something, and it's for a long time it's said they're probably speaking about a hippo. Everybody, and yeah, I think there's a good warning, and it's not a dinosaur because no great big huge sauropod can lie under the lotus or any of these other things. And as far as never tamed by man, okay, that suits the naturalist argument better because Ken Ham and them believe they put saddles on dinosaurs, right? That's tamed by man. So that would go against this very verse that says, somebody like nobody but God dare go up against the behemoth or something like that. I wouldn't mess with a hippo.
Like I said, I've said it a few times, Dave, but like I said, the pharaohs of Egypt used to go on hippo hunts, right? And it was to test their bravery. And of course, they weren't men; they were gods.
Yeah.
Right. So I mean, this is just all very easily, naturally explained by the myth that the pharaohs put about of them being gods and being able to take down hippos. When of course they had a boat full of people with spears doing it. You know what I mean? It wasn't just the pharaoh doing it. You know what I mean? But the pharaoh always got the kill, of course.
And the thing is that the hippos, what they do is they don't necessarily kill you, but they will bite your boat and toss you into the water. And you know who else is in the water? The crocodiles. So, they know well enough that if a hippo tips a boat, they're throwing river, or they're having a river snack.
And I think they were talking about there's a lotus tree that's 30 to 50 feet tall. And then there's the sacred lotus, which grows, it's an aquatic plant and it has flowers that go 2 feet above the water. And I think that's what they're talking about. So the hippo thing is pretty likely. I don't know.
Well, you've got, if you're going covertly in the water, you've got a hippo, you've got a crocodile, and you've got a snake, and it says it eats grass like an ox. So that's not a crocodile or a snake. That's a hippo. Yeah. Those are the ones that are covertly in the waters of that area that you would be worried about and warning about. And there's plenty of mentions of warnings of serpents all throughout the Bible. And I'm sure maybe the crocodile is in there somewhere too. I know they warn of other beasts and stuff, but yeah, of course you would warn about the beasts that live in your area, like crocodiles, hippos, and snakes, because you go down to the water to get the drink or whatever, and you better be wary of what's in the water.
Yeah.
Just up to his mouth. Can anyone capture him while he looks on, or pierce his nose with snares? So God tells Job to take a look at this creature.
Yep.
He said he's the biggest thing made. He describes his tail. Just a quick closing here.
Okay. There it is.
Why don't we have dinosaurs anymore? Most of them would have been killed by the flood. And the fact that we have a
there you go.
It's amazing how many times they think that floods kill waterborne creatures.
Yeah.
I mean, you know, they live in the water, don't they? I mean, why would a flood kill them? Surely that would just make them float a bit higher.
Well, depending on the animal and the region, like if you have a flood that brings a lot of salt water into the freshwater tributaries or whatever, then you might kill a few animals that way. But yeah, it's not a species killing thing.
So Dave, share my video here, my screen, for a minute.
Hold
and
on,
everybody, if you're eating, please look away. But
I gotta put the other one up. Here we go.
Okay. So watch this. Watch its tail wave like a cedar. See its tail moving?
Yep.
Waving like a cedar. Now that looks more like a cedar tree's leaves in the wind than whatever the fuck they're saying. So anyway, yeah, I just want to point that out. Okay.
Anyone get visions of their mother-in-law? Right? Or is it just me?
Yeah, that looks like the bit.
record all over the.
Yes, I would say that the reason for the Behemoth story is a warning about the Behemoth, and I think there's a good warning that don't mess with a hippo. So
yeah,
world, dinosaurs, animals, people, every single continent proves the biblical account of the flood. And that's science confirming the word of God. Because
never has science confirmed a global flood. Now go take a look at the glacial lake Missoula. Is that what it was called? That when the glacier barrier broke and
one of the big ones.
The Western Plains, the channel. What do they call them? Those scablands? Is that what it's called? But anyway,
yeah.
Anyway, that's fascinating. That was a deadly flood. It was a big flood, but it was not a global flood that changed the face of the earth.
Yeah, and it showed very clearly what a giant flood looks like. Those scablands, those are the big pock marks in the rock and all that stuff. And you only see that there. You don't see it anywhere else.
Right.
Why not? We had a global flood. It should be all over the place. Anyway.
You cannot have fossils because something just dies. If you shoot an animal in the woods and let it rot on the ground, it will not turn into a fossil. It will just rot. Point. The flesh will...
Yeah.
Your point? Your point.
That also goes right back at the creationists when they want to ask for a fossil of every dang thing that ever lived.
Yeah.
He's pointing out that it's kind of rare to get a fossil.
Rot, and even the bones will disintegrate. The only way to get a fossil is something has to be...
Okay, so why do we...
Oh, wait a minute.
Let it rot on the ground. It will not turn into a fossil.
Yeah, this is
it
right
will
there.
just rot, the flesh will rot, and even the bones will disintegrate.
He's going to go there. He's going to go
something
there.
Has to be rapidly buried by water and mud. And then it seals out all the oxygen, and then, of course, the flesh does rot. The bones stay there, and eventually the bones do decay. But they're replaced by minerals that leave that impression where the bones work. And so you have this fossil record that covers the whole entire planet. The Bible says the flood covered the whole earth. All the mountains were underwater. So
somebody has never read an article about taphonomy or read a book about taphonomy.
Right.
Maybe read a video about taphonomy. the entire study of how fossils are formed and made. There's more than just one way to make a fossil, and he's just talking about one. I mean, you can have a big animal fall into a lake, drown, go settle to the bottom where there just happens to not be much oxygen and maybe a mushy clay bottom or something, and then sediment just slowly settle upon it, and it being an oxygen deprived area, it's not going to rot away very quickly. So then it gets covered, it fossilizes. Bob's your uncle. You got a fossil. It's not all suddenly and by water, with water. And there's a lot of local floods that have created, created fossils.
Yeah,
so
And volcanic ash.
flood. It
Yes.
could
Is
be a
another
bunch,
way.
Yeah.
a bunch of local floods.
And certain areas are, putting sediment into the water routinely. So these areas would be good areas if something died, that sediment could cover them. So it depends a lot. Well, that's why they say fossils are rare, because it has to be just the right conditions.
Right.
And we're lucky to have the ones we have.
Yeah. Speaking of oxygen deprived areas, should we hear what he's got to say next?
Yeah, he's right at the end here, and he's going to go there. So I just want to hit this part, and he's going to just abruptly end.
Would be, most of them were killed in the flood. Probably Noah took some on the ark, a whole other topic there, and probably a few did make it after the ark, but the majority of the big ones died in the flood. That's where we get the fossil record. And I think we may be out of time. So, Brother Bloom, thank you for having me today. It's been fun. God bless you. Looking forward to seeing you soon.
Yep, that was the end there.
That was a brain cell killing presentation.
Oh,
and we still didn't get to the other one. But there's another one on here no problem.
I'm just impressed we got through an entire video.
Yeah, well, I skipped a little bit there.
I'm away for 1 week, and look what happens.
Yeah, I missed the little part there I wanted to catch. I don't want to go back look. It's hard to find on a longer video like this. But he did go there about soft tissue in the dinosaur bones. That's what I was trying to hit. I thought that was the last thing he said, but he must have said it just before I started. But yeah, he did go there and bring up that they're finding all these things in the fossils. And first of all, they're not finding the things they claim are in the fossils. And even if they did, it would not change the age of the fossil. They would just need an explanation of how they found these things inside of a fossil. So there you go. And of course, it's Ken Ham stuff. It's yabba dabba do nonsense. He mentioned Ken Ham specifically about the great team, the research team or something like that. He said that they have over there, which is, utter nonsense. And once again, I'm going to mention that I'm going to Kentucky in 2 weeks. So if you're going to Kentucky too, I hope to see you there. I'm looking forward to meeting a bunch of the folks in Kentucky, and looks like some of us are staying in the same block of rooms that was gotten for a discount or whatever the block rate thing was and stuff. So I just took advantage of that. It was easy shopping for me, and it's right there and everything. So the missus and I are going to hop in the car and go to Kentucky.
Yeah.
God help you.
We have to come back on Sunday and everything. But we're gonna spend the night Saturday. We'll go there, and then afterwards we'll hang out a little bit, and then we do have to come back because my son goes into work early, so there has to be somebody here to take care of the dogs and everything. But other than that, we'll be able to spend the full protest time and all that kind of stuff. So I didn't want to drive down because the protest is like starts like 10 o'clock or something in the morning. It's like a 10 to 2 thing, right? And yeah, 4 hours, that means I got to leave before 6 a.m. That means I got to be up before like 5 a.m. That means I got to be getting ready by like 4 a.m. And I'm like, there's this, you know, and then that's a long day, you know, that's a long day. So
sounds like my days every day.
Yeah, I figured, no, we might as well just take our time, you know, and you can just take your time, drive down, check in, you know, and then you start the next day. So that's what we're going to do.
Well, just remember, it's a long, long way to Kentucky.
I go the full stretch. I'm on one end. I got to go all the way to the other end of the state and then cross the border. So, I've done it before. It's, I'm in Toledo, so I'm going Toledo to Cincinnati, and then you go over the river, and then you're in Kentucky, and then it's like a half hour or so down the road, is my understanding. So, I've drove it before. I've been to Kings Island and everything. It was like, it was about 3.5, 4 hours, something like that. You know, depends, if you stop, stretch your legs or anything, you know what I mean? So, I used to drive state to state a lot when I was a service tech. I've been to Kentucky a bunch of times, Indiana, Chicago, Michigan, went a couple other oddball places a couple times, but I drove across the state a lot. Been there, done that. Not a big fan of doing it much anymore, but Mrs. Desk can drive too. But it's a straight shot for me. I just get on the expressway and go south. So, and then basically get off when I'm supposed to. So as long as I stay on the highway south, I'm good. And then to come home, I just get on the same one and keep following the signs that have an N on them, and I come right back into town. So other than that, it's just getting off at the right exit. So that's all I got to do. And I heard Nitty might go too. So I guess Jay Bundy's going to go. Godless Granny mentioned earlier that she's going to be there, as well as a lot of the other folks that were in the ad, like Godless Engineer, Emmett Meta, Chris Mallard, Durante. And there's so many folks. Secular Rarity. One of the few that can't make it is Aaron Ra, and Vice Rhino was another one. Of course, Vice Rhino's in Canada, and Vice Rhino just said, "I don't want to come across the border right now." And we said, "Hey, that's cool. We can't argue with it, So, but otherwise, for the couple of people that couldn't make it, I think a whole bunch more were added. So it should be a great lineup of speakers, as well as all of us that are going to be there with our signs saying, "Ken Ham, you bad." And they're going to have it's going to be like a speaking time, and then like a protest time, and then an after time. Everybody's going to go from there to something else where they can kind of hang out too. So, all in all, it's like they're making it a meet and greet for all of us before and after the protest. So it should be a good time with all of us that kind of know each other from being on YouTube, but may not have actually met each other in person. So that'll be kind of interesting to, hey, shake hands and say, "Hey, how you doing?" And with that, I think we had enough of this guy, and I still got another bad one too. Mike, I promise we're going to get to it. I've got another really bad one for you. I know you enjoy these really bad ones.
Is this one? Try to find one that doesn't mention Charles Darwin and go through all that bullshit.
Well,
that's the best bit. Oh, that's the best bit.
I did pick this one because he was mentioning Ken Ham right in the first few minutes, and that kind of sold me. I was like, oh, he's talking Ken Ham, so we got to cover that one. Ken Ham is why the protest is going on at the Ark. So I thought, fit right in.
I have something for Mike here. Mike, you can't explain fish fingers.
Nope.
Gotcha.
Nope. You got me.
Therefore.
Oh shit! Now I don't believe anymore. No, you ruined it, Simos. Yeah.
There you go. Darwin never mentioned fish fingers.
He never did.
You need to believe harder, Mike, because around here.
We love toast. We love toast. We love toast. We love toast. We love toast.
You had to put that in my mind right at the end.
I got, like I was mentioning earlier, we have more content coming from Wayne because, like I said, he's got stuff about magic and everything, and a couple things about pyramids and stuff too. So maybe something new or something else that's tied back to the toasters. So could be really interesting. So, but like I said, in 2 weeks, I'm going to Kentucky. So Saturday Night The Atheist, maybe Mike's going to host it in 2 weeks. And then maybe I'll just come on from Kentucky. We'll do something. And then I'm going to try and, I can just pop on my phone and go live. It won't be any.
We're going to need a live report from you, Dave.
Yeah. So, I'll do a live report.
Yeah.
But of course, it's just whenever. It won't be a scheduled thing or anything, right? So, but I'll make sure and get material and stuff. Of course, I want to try and get pictures with folks and grab some video. And there's also supposed to be somebody there taking photographs and video and covering the event. So between that and everybody else that'll be there with their phones and their cameras and everything, which again, make sure you got your stuff locked right. Don't put your fingerprints in your face and your info, and turn your satellite off and GPS, and get a burner if while you're at it.
Yeah. Also, Dave. Also, to let everybody know, Dave, that you've got an exclusive interview, haven't you, with Ken Ham, or at least somebody as sensible, or something as sensible as Ken Ham, maybe a piece of gopher wood or something.
What is the name of the town? That
Williamsburg. Williamsburg. It's just over the line from Cincinnati.
Yeah, I'm expecting you to find at least a little bit of gopher wood around there somewhere.
I would love to find some, really.
Yeah. Yeah.
I guess what it is there's a road that leads to the park from the main road that comes off the highway or whatever. So along this stretch of road is where it's going to be. So they're going to have like the event, and then they're going to go down the road closer to the park and like do the signs, bad park, and then come back up the road. So it's on this little access road thing is where the protest actually is.
Hey, that's only 890 miles from me. I could drive that, right?
Sure.
That's weird. I just did a query and it said that it was 850 miles away from me. I don't know why. I guess you're just way up north.
Yeah, it's like a triangle. We're the same distance apart except in different directions. So
well, four times.
I'm
four times. If you call it 4 times 7, that'd be 28. So it's probably about 250, 300 miles from me, depending on all the zigzags or whatever.
12 hours and 48 minutes. I don't know if I have that long. I'm pretty old. No.
Well, I had to drive to North Carolina one time for a job. It was 13 and a half hours driving straight. The only time we stopped was just for a quick, rest stop, grab a sandwich, got back in the truck, and
wow.
we were back on the road. We did it in 13 and a half hours.
I remember a drive to North Carolina, and that was excruciating. My father-in-law and mother-in-law were in a van with us.
Oh no!
I mean, my mother-in-law was chill, but the father-in-law was a different story.
Yeah.
So yeah, but next week, again, maybe something with a little Ken Ham flair again to get us warmed up. If not, maybe some Wayne or something, or maybe we'll get to this other video I keep trying to get to.
I like the idea of Ken Ham, something Ken Ham related.
All right, I'll try to do some because I'm going to Kentucky and I'll be real close to Ken Ham, and maybe too close for comfort. Maybe he'll drive by. Who knows?
Something like like these people that have discovered the real ark. You know what I mean?
I got to get out of here. I'll see you guys. Good night.
All right,
Thanks,
Mike.
See you. Bye.
And don't forget, go over to Answers in Atheism. We're often over there, especially when Mike finds some video that says, hey, I got to address this. And we go live over there with Answers in Atheism, and we hang out with Mike and Scott, and we have a good talk over there. And then when we're not doing that, Simos has his show on Thursdays with the State of the Onion, and we go over there and we have great conversations over there. So we got all these great conversations going on. Make sure you click the links in the description below so you can join in on a lot of great conversations with us.
Thank you so much. Yeah.
Yeah, and I hope you're up and at 'em again there soon, Simos.
I
wish you all the best.
I wore myself out a bit, I think, and that was what it was. So I'm going to go back to sleep again very shortly, and hopefully everything could be all right. I've got a Formula One show on Monday that I've got to be right for, so I'm going to be sleeping till Monday, and apart from the Formula One, of course. And then Thursday, we'll be seeing you Thursday. Might be doing a show on tag. If you know what tag is?
Yes, I do.
Yeah. Well, the toasty argument for God. It's called.
Toasty? Okay. Well, I like toast.
Yeah, good. Do you like toast, Dave?
We love toast.
We love toast. We love toast. We love toast. We love toast. We love toast.
Yeah, so that's probably what we'll be doing. Can never guarantee anything in my life, but there you go.
You've had a lot of great conversations over there, Simos. Really enjoyed them, and looking forward to some more. And I want to thank everybody for joining us. Tilting Windmill, I hope you like the new emoji. And everybody that joined us tonight, a lot of folks have been here. We've still got over 20 people hanging out with us. Much appreciated, everybody. I hope you have a good one. And I'm planning on doing a member stream sometime this week. And I also do the Night Watch. Next Saturday will be on schedule. And the week after that will be the protest. So Mike says that he may host the show in 2 weeks. And then I can drop in and say hey from there. So that might be the best way to work it out. And I will take my laptop to the protest, and hopefully everything will, work in the hotel. And I did get, just in case, I got a little microphone so I can talk, so I don't have to lean into the laptop. So I am set to go. I got that covered. And I will try and do, some live things and everything to make it as fun as possible and advantageous as possible, especially because a lot of folks are going to be there. Austin is going as well. So many other folks are going to be. I think Nancy's going from Apostate Sisters. I think Sumami's going. I think somebody mentioned maybe some other folks too in the chat. So it's going to be a great opportunity just to meet everybody as well. So, and with that, don't forget, like, subscribe, share, check the description before you go. All the great links, including the video that we covered tonight. And with that, we will sign out. Thanks, everybody.
Good night, everybody.
Ciao.
Without a sound, history speaks in tales of lore, knocking at the captive desk's door. Oh, legends live within these walls, silent echoes in the halls, books and stories on the floor, knocking at the captive desk's door. Captive desk, hold our dreams, where reality and no myth seems. In conversations quiet flow, the mysteries untold will know. Legends live within these walls, silent echoes in the halls, books and stories on the floor, knocking at